Chapter 897. Chapter 897, Shook the Holy See Town. This piece of paper is called Congratulations. Congratulations on your death. Dragon Assassin Organization. The woman standing in front of the city guards widened her eyes and read the words on the door in shock. A huge red piece of paper was stuck on the door. It looked festive, but the words on it made people feel inexplicably horrified. Congratulations on death. A red piece of paper. Dragon Assassin Organization. The door opened and attracted the attention of the people on the street outside. When they saw the piece of paper stuck on the door, they all widened their eyes. Dragon Assassin Organization? What kind of assassin organization is this? Why am I hearing about it for the first time? It's too arrogant, too domineering. It actually assassinated the vice leader of the Dogfish mercenary group. It seems that other than him, a lot of people died. Is this a newly established assassin organization? How terrifying. The surrounding people widened their eyes filled with fear. The Horned Shark mercenary group, one of the top 3 mercenary groups in the entire Holy See town, had been directly killed by an assassin. The death of the vice leader Ao Kuang was simply shocking. Ao Kuang, a level 5 transcendent, was a powerhouse in the entire Holy See town. Now he was actually killed in the base. It seemed that this Dragon Assassin organization was able to assassinate most of the people in Holy See town, and even most of the powerhouses. Dragon Assassin Organization. Dragon Assassin Organization. 2 low growls came out of the mouth of the captain. His eyes were blood red and he clenched his fists tightly. His body was emitting a terrifying aura. It's that kid, it must be that kid. You deserve to die, deserve to die. As he said that, his eyes flashed with a cold glint. He suddenly raised his head and gritted his teeth, his expression ferocious. Although the 30 over people who were assassinated today were not the full strength of the Dogfish mercenary group, they still took up half of it. This was his life's work. Now that half of it had been destroyed, how could he not be angry? That kid. The surrounding city guards looked at each other when they heard the words of the Dogfish mercenary group leader. This was a vendetta. It was normal on the transcendental continent, but the other party had hired an assassin. The woman standing in front took out a jade plate and looked at it, but she didn't find any traces. Just like yesterday, the assassin had concealed himself well. Looking at the red paper on the door, she not only sighed, this assassin organization was too arrogant. After killing, they had left a mark to prove that they had killed the person. They were extremely arrogant. Captain Dogfish, I'm sorry for your loss. A middle-aged city guard said after hesitating for a moment. He then looked at the woman in front of him. The woman nodded and the group walked out. This was their personal grudge. The city guards would not get involved and would not look for the murderer. Unless Captain Dogfish could produce enough evidence, they would not make a move to arrest him. They had no way to deal with the assassin organization. This was a world where force was the most important thing. If they really wanted to catch the assassins, it would be a pipe dream. Most importantly, if they really wanted to catch the assassins, they would become enemies with the assassin organization. The assassin organization didn't care if you were an official of the kingdom or a minister of the kingdom. Since they were enemies, it was possible to assassinate the public officials of Holy See town, or even the city guards. This wasn't impossible. The assassin organization was in the dark. If they didn't have the ability to completely eliminate them, it was best not to provoke them. Otherwise, there would be endless trouble in the future. Every kingdom and empire had an assassin organization. A powerful assassin organization even made the empire afraid. Their small Holy See town could not afford to offend an assassin organization. A group of city guards walked out. When the people gathered outside saw them, they discussed in low voices. The news of the assassination of the vice leader of the Dogfish mercenary group spread very quickly. The assassination of a transcendent level 5 expert spread throughout the entire Holy See town in the morning. When they learned of the actions of the Dragon Assassin organization, their faces were filled with shock. After the assassination, the assassin left behind a red piece of paper. The name of the paper is Congratulations, which means, congratulations on your death. It's too arrogant. Dragon Assassin Organization, is this a newly established organization or an assassin organization from another place? This is the first time I've heard of it, but this assassination can be said to be famous after one battle. I wonder how to contact this assassin organization. Some people were discussing in shock, while others were thinking about how to contact the assassin organization. Many people knew that there was an undercurrent assassin organization in Holy See Town. The undercurrent was the strongest assassin organization in the entire Star Moon Kingdom, but this assassin organization had too few people and too high a commission. Once it failed, it would only refund half of the commission. Unless forced, no one would hire assassins. Not to mention hiring powerful assassins to deal with their own enemies. Assassins were not easy to nurture, and not everyone could become an assassin. For example, if one wanted to become an assassin, one had to have a fixed inheritance and a fixed method of advancement. When an assassin wanted to become an assassin, they first had to possess a powerful concealment divine ability. Generally speaking, a divine ability corresponded to a corresponding attribute. For example, the supernatural ability of the undercurrent would temporarily turn into water and enter the room. To execute this supernatural ability, one first had to possess the water attribute. Secondly, one had to comprehend this supernatural ability of turning into water. This was only the first step to becoming a killer. Just this step alone would stop countless people. This was only the beginning. To become a beginner-level killer, one could hunt warriors at the first or second stage of the extraordinary realm. Next, one had to comprehend the supernatural ability related to assassination. The comprehension of supernatural ability did not mean that one could comprehend any type of supernatural ability. It was very difficult to comprehend supernatural ability, let alone a fixed supernatural ability. It was several times more difficult. On the Transcendence continent, there were many warriors at the first level of Transcendence. Above that, it would decrease by several hundred times. Some people might not be able to comprehend a second supernatural ability even after 100 or 200 years. Even if an assassin comprehended a second killing divine ability, he would only be able to assassinate martial artists at the third level of the extraordinary realm. The success rate of assassinating martial artists one level higher than him would be less than 30%. Not to mention comprehending a fixed divine ability. However, if you didn't comprehend a fixed divine ability, that was fine. You were an assassin. But if you comprehended an area of effect attack with a large area of effect attack, then what was the point of assassinating? When you use your divine ability, others will notice it. An assassin would take advantage of their surprise and kill them in one strike. If they couldn't do it, they would immediately flee thousands of miles away. To an assassin, an area of effect attack was simply courting death. Moreover, not many people were willing to become an assassin who lived in the darkness, unless the assassin organization nurtured their own loyal assassins. Then, it was already rare for a 5th-rank extraordinary assassin to be nurtured out of 100,000 people. And the cost of nurturing such an assassin was too terrifying. The assassins in this world were not as easy to nurture as on Earth. Of course, if it was only to assassinate a martial artist at the first rank of the extraordinary, it would still be easy to nurture an assassin at this level. Clearly, this was only an assassin of a lower level. All sorts of harsh conditions resulted in very few assassins. Even the biggest assassin organization in Star Moon Kingdom, Undercurrent, had only assassinated a rank 9 Transcendent. This had shocked the entire Star Moon Kingdom. Chapter 898. Chapter 898 was shrouded in the light of death. Within a day, the entire Shanghai town was shaken by the Dragon Assassin organization. When Wang Xian realized that everyone in Shanghai town was shaken, he was slightly taken aback. Soon after, he understood that it was very difficult to train assassins in this world. Dragon King. At this moment, Long Yi and the rest came into the room and shouted at Wang Xian. We have found the 20 spies. Should we proceed with the next operation? The group of Draconids said to him. Continue with the operation. If we only assassinate the members of the Horn Shark mercenary group, we might be exposed. Wang Xian said immediately. He waved his hand and said, This is 20 drops of dragon blood. Let them swallow it. Then give each of them a communication stone plate. Tonight, I want all the upper-class people in Shanghai town to get the contact information of the Dragon Assassin mercenary group. After that, the light will envelop the entire Shanghai town. Wang Xian narrowed his eyes slowly and said with a solemn face. It's the Dragon King. Let's get ready immediately. The group of Draconids left immediately. Wang Xian had to control 100% of the spies of the Dragon Assassin organization. This way, even if the spies were caught, nothing would be leaked. These spies were all people who were about to die. Now that they had gained another few hundred years of life, They wouldn't refuse even if they knew that they could die at any time. However, every day that they lived was another day. Moreover, as long as they hid well, there wouldn't be any danger. The light will envelop the holy sea town. However, this is the light of death. Wang Xian mumbled. A day passed slowly. The leader of the Squawk Shark mercenary group gathered all the members who were carrying out their mission. After Bei Qianjun and Qin Gaia learned that Ao Kuang had been assassinated, their faces were filled with fear. They were afraid that it would be their turn tonight. When they thought of that young man, a hint of fear and embarrassment appeared on their faces. In order to seek revenge for their children urgently, they went to look for an assassin organization. However, they did not expect that the other party would also look for an assassin organization. Moreover, it was such a powerful assassins organization. At night, the Bei and Qing families were brightly lit. Bei Qianjun and Qin Gaia even gathered in a courtyard and sat there discussing countermeasures with embarrassed expressions on their faces. What should we do? What if this assassin's organization comes to assassinate us? It shouldn't be. According to the information we've received, that kid lives in a slum area. He probably doesn't have that much money to hire an assassin. Let's hope so. Where did this dragon assassin organization come from? How can it be so powerful? The undercurrent branch in our holy sea town only has a transcendent level 5 assassin at most. The two of them talked with an embarrassed expression. Whoosh! At this moment, a flying knife suddenly flew towards them. Watch out! Watch out! The two's expressions changed drastically as they hurriedly stood up, their bodies emitting a terrifying aura. Bang! A flying knife landed on the pillar of the house. The two's expressions were filled with shock as they looked over. Hiss this time? This is the piece of paper that congratulates death. Why did they send us a piece of paper? The two's bodies trembled as fear appeared on their faces. Bei Qianjuan's expression changed as he quickly walked over and pulled out the flying knife that was embedded in the pillar. His eyes flashed as he took the piece of paper. There are words on it. What's written on it? Qin Gaia quickly asked. It's the contact information of the Dragon Assassin Organization. Bei Qianjuan's expression changed drastically as he looked at the contact information and immediately took out his communication stone plate. At the same time, all the powerful forces and families in the entire Shanghai town received a contact information from the Dragon Assassin Organization. This caused the expressions of everyone in the entire Shanghai town to change slightly. Some of them frowned while some of them revealed a hint of viciousness on their faces. The next morning the sun was still rising high in the sky. Wang Xian opened his eyes and revealed a smile on his face. He had a simple breakfast. Dragon King, there are already people looking for us. Wang Xian had just finished his breakfast when a group of draconids walked over excitedly and said to him, Is that so? The business is here already? Wang Xian was full of smiles. What mission? To assassinate the leader of an extraordinary level 4 mercenary group. The draconids replied immediately. What is the character of the leader of the mercenary group? Wang Xian asked faintly. Although the Dragon Assassin group was established, Wang Xian did not make the group a zombie. There were 3 types of missions that the Dragon Assassin group did not accept. They did not accept missions to assassinate children. They did not accept missions to assassinate good people. They did not accept missions that exceeded the capabilities of the Dragon Assassin group. The 3 types of missions that the Dragon Assassin group did not accept could be considered as the bottom line of an assassin group. Dragon King, the leader of the mercenary group that the other party requested to assassinate, is not a good person. I heard that he has killed quite a number of members of the mercenary group in the wild. The group of draconids knew the rules set by Wang Xian and would definitely follow them. They immediately said, All right, Ao Yao, do it. Wang Xian nodded and said directly to the side, It's the Dragon King. Ao Yao's voice rang out before it disappeared immediately. Dragon King, there's another mission. Not long after, another draconid walked over. There was another mission. The reward for the mission was extremely generous. If one were to assassinate a level 3 extraordinaire and obtain jade to buy elixirs, the reward would be increased by 20 dragon crystals. If one were to assassinate a level 4 extraordinaire and exchange it for dragon crystals, the reward would be 100 dragon crystals. Assassinating a level 5 transcendent expert would be worth 700 dragon crystals. Assassinations were far more profitable than mercenary missions. In a short morning, the dragon Spike received 5 missions, one of which he rejected. 4 missions, assassinating 1 level 3 transcendent, 2 level 4 transcendents, and 1 level 5 transcendent. None of them were innocent people who could not be killed. Carry out the mission immediately. Wang Xian gave the order on the spot. Currently, the Dragon Assassin organization had a total of 21 strange demons who had evolved into light spikes. Including Ao Yao, there were a total of 8 level 3 transcendents. Light spikes with level 3 transcendents had an 80% success rate in assassinating level 5 transcendents. Kill. After Dragon Spike received the mission and obtained the commission through the spy, the Dragon Assassin organization took action. 1 was at rank 3 transcendent, 2 were at rank 4 transcendent, and 1 was at rank 5 transcendent. These 4 people were very weak to Dragon Spike. During the day in a restaurant, a burly middle-aged man slammed the table and shouted, "Waiter, serve the wine." An old man was sitting in his shop with a smile on his face. A young man was walking toward the forging workshop with a weapon in his hand. A leader of a mercenary group led a group of members to the Red Chamber in an awe-inspiring manner. The sun was high up in the sky. The 4 of them were in the middle of a riot during the day, so they were not vigilant at all. The light of death shrouded them. Chapter 899. Chapter 899, The light of death enveloped the area. Haha, this is great. The burly middle-aged man happily picked up the entire jar of wine and poured it into his mouth. There were not many people around the second floor of the restaurant. Some warriors quickly turned their heads when they saw the burly middle-aged man. This burly middle-aged man was not someone they could provoke. Haha, this is great. The burly middle-aged man wiped the wine from his mouth, reached out to pick up the wine jar and raised his head. However, at this moment, a white light flashed. Cough, cough, cough. The burly middle-aged man's body stiffened slightly, and the wine in the wine jar that he lifted quickly poured into his mouth. However, what was terrifying was that the wine actually flowed out from his throat. Bang bang. The middle-aged man's body fell to the ground, and the wine jar shattered. What's going on? The guests and waiters on the second floor were slightly shocked, and they quickly looked at the burly middle-aged man. When they saw the blood on the burly middle-aged man's neck, they were shocked. What? A middle-aged man widened his eyes, and his eyes were filled with disbelief. What happened? Oh, how did Li Xiong get killed all of a sudden? How is that possible? He was drinking just now. The wound on his neck, this. Look at that. It's a congratulatory note. It's the Dragon Spike. It's the Dragon Assassin organization. My God, they killed people in the daytime and they were right next to us. Li Xiong, a level 4 transcendent, was killed right away. Everyone on the second floor was shocked and couldn't help but exclaim. They didn't even see how the killer made his move. They didn't even see Li Xiong put up any resistance. He died directly. This made everyone feel a deep fear. This was a level 4 transcendent expert. At the same time, a young man walked towards the forging workshop. The Holy Artifact Workshop was located in the center of Holy Sea Town. It was one of the best workshops in the entire Transcendence continent. Young Master Zhu is here. Welcome, young Master Zhu. The young man had just walked to the entrance of the biological workshop when the attendant inside greeted him with a smile. "And is my weapon ready?" The young man raised his head slightly and said with a smile. "Of course, young Master Zhu. The forging is ready and waiting for you to take it. In the future, when young Master Zhu enters East Sea Academy with the weapons of our holy item forging workshop, he will definitely be able to slaughter everyone." The waiter flattered him and turned around with a smile on his face, leading the way. The young man nodded proudly. As the most outstanding prodigy of Holy Sea Town, he would definitely be the most dazzling existence when he entered East Sea Academy. Everyone had to submit to him. He could have as many women as he wanted. At the thought of this, a devilish smile appeared on the corner of his mouth. However, at this moment he felt a chill on his neck. His eyes widened and his entire body instantly lost all its strength. "Young Master Zhu, please come in." At this moment, the waiter turned his head, bent his body and made a welcoming gesture with his arms. Bang! However, the young man's body fell straight into the holy item forging workshop, and blood slowly flowed out. Ah! A terrified scream came out of the waiter's mouth. At this moment, in 2 other places, the light of death also enveloped them. Soon, in less than half a day, the entire Holy Sea Town was boiling. In the courtyard of the city guard's office, 4 bodies were placed on the ground. Next to each body was a red piece of paper. After the incident with the Dogfish mercenary group yesterday, everyone knew what this piece of paper represented. Congratulations on death. The Dragon Assassin Group. At this moment, more than 100 city guards were standing at the side. The one in front was still the woman. A middle-aged man stood beside the woman. The middle-aged man had long hair like a waterfall and was wearing a long robe. He seemed to have a special temperament. Reporting to my lord, it's the Dragon Assassin organization. They are simply too terrifying. They were assassinated in the daytime. There are many people around them, but no one could see the killers clearly. We didn't find them through the formation either. It seems that they can avoid the detection of the formation. The city guard captain of Holy See Town stared at the corpse on the ground with an embarrassed look and said with some fear. Assassinations happened almost every month in Holy See Town. However, it was the first time that a level 3 to level 4 and a level 5 transcendent were killed in broad daylight. It was strange, terrifying, and unbelievable. All the city guards looked extremely embarrassed. In the face of such a terrifying assassin, how could they investigate? Investigate my ass. Sir. At this moment, 3 old men rushed over with a red piece of paper in their hands. Sir, this is something an old friend of mine gave me. Last night, the Dragon Assassin organization threw a throwing knife at his house. The contact information of the Dragon Assassin organization is written on it. Through the Jade Plate, you can contact the Dragon Assassin organization. You can issue missions and hire them. An old man in the middle handed the red paper to the middle-aged man and another Jade Plate to him. Contact the Dragon Assassin organization. The middle-aged man received it expressionlessly, and the woman next to him walked over curiously. Yes, through the communication Jade Plate, you can contact the Dragon Assassin organization and hire them. However, there are 3 kinds of missions that the Dragon Assassin organization doesn't accept. They don't accept missions to assassinate children. They don't accept missions to assassinate people of great virtue. They don't accept missions that exceed the capabilities of the Dragon Assassin organization. The old man replied. Oh, 3 kinds of missions that they don't accept, that's really... The middle-aged man paused for a moment, and a smile appeared on his face. What a principled assassin organization. There's such an assassin organization? Don't assassins on the continent kill people for money? The woman next to him was also curious. They don't accept missions to assassinate children, and they don't accept missions to assassinate kind people. I feel that this assassin organization is a little merciful. Some people still have a bottom line. As the middle-aged man spoke, a hint of admiration appeared in his eyes. This assassin organization was able to instantly kill transcendents of level 5 in the middle of the day. It's definitely not simple. Sir, what should we do about this matter? Now the entire Holy See Town is in an uproar. Everyone is talking about the Dragon Assassin organization. The Dragon Assassin organization's assassination this time is simply too sensational. It's blown up. The old man said with a dark face. HMPH, it's blown up. These are all tasks that they issued themselves. Moreover, the people who died aren't good people. So what if they die? The middle-aged man snorted and said directly. Not to mention the 3 non-killing rules of the Dragon Assassin Group. Even if the Dragon Assassin Group was an organization that killed people for money, he would not dare to offend them. Although his power was not afraid of this assassin group, he still had his family and subordinates. Even if he was the highest officer and the strongest person in the entire Holy See Town, he would not dare to offend such a terrifying assassin group. Chapter 900. Chapter 900, The Crazy Holy See Town. The middle-aged man's words made the surrounding 100 people slightly silent, and then they slowly nodded. First, this assassin organization appeared out of nowhere. It was extremely mysterious and its strength was also extremely terrifying. They could not rashly provoke it. Second, this assassin organization had its own bottom line. They did not accept missions from children, and they did not accept missions from kind people. Just these 2 points alone made this assassin organization beyond their control. Some of the city guards even admired this Dragon Assassin organization for being able to stick to their bottom line. Disperse. Let their families come and collect the bodies. The middle-aged man waved his hand and said to them. Yes, sir. Everyone nodded and looked at the ground, slowly shaking their heads. Among the dead, the young man was the most outstanding student of St. C Academy in St. C Town. He had passed the East C Academy's assessment with excellent results. But now he was killed. The city guards knew a little about this young man. He liked women and had once defiled a girl. He was not a good person. What a killer organization with personality. I want to join them. The woman in the middle stuck out her tongue and said with a smile. All right, stop fooling around. The middle-aged man patted the woman's head and walked out with a smile. At this moment, everyone in Holy See Town was talking about the Dragon Assassin organization. It's too horrifying. A rank 5 transcendent was killed on the street. How could it be so terrifying? A 3-star silver tier mercenary group leader was instantly killed by a group of subordinates. This is the most terrifying part. The Dragon Assassin group appeared out of nowhere. It's too powerful. Damn, I heard that many people now know the contact information of the Dragon Assassin group. Could it be that someone killed me? I feel that the Dragon Assassin group is even more terrifying than the undercurrent. They actually killed people in the middle of the city during the day without being discovered by anyone. This is unbelievable. It's definitely the work of a very powerful assassin. Whether it was in the hotel or in the Demon Hunter mercenary group, everyone was talking about it. They killed an expert in the middle of the city during the day without anyone noticing. It was so terrifying. So powerful. This assassin organization is so powerful. The mission that I issued this morning was completed by noon. Moreover, the method was so shocking. It's simply too powerful. Haha, this Dragon Assassin organization is so awesome. It's simply too awesome. When the people from the Dragon Assassin organization received the news, they were excited. They were happy that their opponents were not killed. No, the Dragon Assassin organization is too powerful. Will someone hire the Dragon Assassin organization to assassinate me? However, they soon became worried. The Dragon Assassin organization was so powerful. Would someone hire them to assassinate them? Not only these people but everyone in Holy See Town was terrified. With the strength of the Dragon Assassin organization, would someone hire them to assassinate him? If someone did, wouldn't he be finished? Living in Holy See Town, which of the big families didn't have competitors? Would competitors hire the Dragon Assassin? Everyone was terrified. However, some people had a clear conscience. What are you afraid of? I have a clear conscience all my life. I have never done anything wrong. On the contrary, many people have received my favor. Even if I have offended many people, according to the rules of the Dragon Thorns, they will not accept my mission. That's right. Father has always been open and above board. In Shanghai Town, the reputation of our Tang family can be ranked in the top 3. Since the Dragon Thorns Assassin organization has given the rule of 3 no-kill, they will definitely stick to it. Otherwise, an assassin organization would not take unnecessary actions. I'm not afraid, but you guys shouldn't do anything wrong. We have a lot of enemies. If your hands and feet are dirty, you deserve to be assassinated. Don't worry, Father. We didn't do anything wrong. Today we will open the charity hall and help some people. Okay. The Tang family in Shanghai Town was also a relatively strong family. In the hall, everyone from the Tang family was talking. On the same day, the Tang family announced the opening of the charity hall to provide relief to those in need. Compared to the peace of mind of the Tang family, the others were much more apprehensive. In the evening, many people also learned about the 3 don't kill of the Dragon Assassin organization. This surprised many people, but at the same time they were also somewhat impressed. An assassin organization actually set such a rule. It had to be said that it was definitely the first one on the transcendental continent. However, there were very few people who had a clear conscience and were truly kind. In this world where the strong were respected, there were very few of them. This made many people go crazy. Dragon King, since this afternoon, many people have contacted our Dragon Spur mercenary group. Up until now we have accumulated 30 missions. The highest mission is to assassinate a level 6 transcendent, and the lowest mission is to assassinate a level 2 transcendent. At night, a group of Draconids came to Wang Xian's room and reported to him. 30 missions? That many? Wang Xian was astonished and asked immediately. It's the Dragon King. There are many of them. Now, the entire Shanghai town is talking about our Dragon Assassin organization. The group of Draconids said with fervent eyes, we need to select these 30 missions. Alright, we will accept the mission according to our rules. If the mission to assassinate a transcendent level 6 meets the requirements, we will accept it too. Wang Xian said directly. It's the Dragon King. The Draconids nodded. Ding. The path of the strong does not lose its eyes due to benefits and strength. Congratulations, host, for obtaining the hidden mission set by the Light and Dark Dragon God. You have obtained the Heart of Light and Dark and the Heart of the Pricking Dragon. At this moment, the system's voice sounded. Wang Xian was slightly taken aback. This works. Wang Xian's face was filled with astonishment. Heart of Light and Dark, Heart of the Prickling Dragon. What is this? Just as he finished his sentence, a divine dragon suddenly appeared beside him. The divine dragon was half bright and half dark. It looked very strange. It was only the size of a palm and contained terrifying powers of light and dark. Buzz. The divine dragon moved and entered Wang Xian's heart directly. Boom. In an instant, Wang Xian felt the 5 elements' energy in his body trembling violently as if it was rejecting the entry of light and darkness. The heart of light and darkness seemed to feel extremely helpless and could only enter Wang Xian's head directly. In an instant, Wang Xian felt as if his head had exploded. Congratulations to host for merging with the heart of light and darkness. Congratulations to host for comprehending the divine ability, the Eye of Light and Darkness. Congratulations to host for comprehending the divine ability, Void. Congratulations to host for comprehending the divine ability, No Formation. Host's level has increased. Congratulations to host for comprehending the Piercing Pupil. A series of system voices rang out, causing Wang Xian to be stunned. What is this Heart of Light and Darkness? Why is it so powerful? Wang Xian's eyes were filled with astonishment. Chapter 901. Chapter 901, On Light and Darkness. Ding, the Eye of Light and Darkness, Endless Wood, Piercing Pupil and the Eye of Heavenly Dragon are fused into the Eye of Light and Darkness, Fire Dragon. Ding, the Void divine ability is transformed into the Light and Darkness Void. Ding, the Formless divine ability is transformed into the Light and Darkness Void. Just when Wang Xian was shocked by the Heart of Light and Darkness, the system's voice sounded again. This made him slightly stunned. With a thought, he immediately checked his information. Name Wang Xian. Race, 5 elements divine dragon, able to transform into a human. Level, extraordinary level 3. Dragon crystal, 8/10,000. Supernatural ability, ruling the water tribe that is lower than one's level. Devouring creatures to extract dragon crystals. Control of the 5 elements. Cultivation method, divine dragon transformation. Supernatural ability, burning the river and boiling the sea, gold splitting the void, descending of the wood realm, water crisis city, fury of the earth, soul capture, spirit possession, light and dark fire dragon eyes, light and dark void, light and dark shadowless. Dragon Palace, level 2. Members of Dragon Palace, 3,255. I've actually comprehended all the supernatural powers of the prickly dragon, and it even evolved. This Heart of Light and Dark. Wang Xian frowned and checked the reward that he suddenly received in his mind. When he finished reading the information about the Heart of Light and Dark in his mind, his eyes sparkled. The Heart of Light and Darkness was the supreme treasure of the divine dragon god of light and darkness. It could be integrated into the heart. The divine dragon god of light and darkness was the only divine dragon among the divine dragons who possessed both the light and darkness attributes. His abilities were ranked in the top 3 among the divine dragons. This Heart of Light and Darkness was a supreme treasure that he had obtained unintentionally. It was also because of the Heart of Light and Darkness that he was able to become the divine dragon of light and darkness. Just now, the Heart of Light and Darkness wanted to enter Wang Xian's heart and turn him into the divine dragon of light and darkness. However, the power of the 5 elements was too powerful and directly repelled it. It could only reside in his mind. Even so, Wang Xian had obtained quite a number of supernatural powers. It had even increased his strength by 1 level. If he were to completely absorb the Heart of Light and Darkness, his strength would definitely increase crazily. However, it was due to the attributes of the 5 elements. Although light and darkness were powerful, it was still impossible to replace the 5 elements. Although the Heart of Light and Darkness did not replace the 5 elements, it still allowed me to live with some supernatural powers. Does this mean that I have a chance to become a divine dragon with all attributes, including the 5 elements of light and darkness plus wind and thunder? Wang Xian thought to himself. However, he shook his head immediately. He did not dare to think of a divine dragon with all attributes. The thorn dragon is the descendant of the light and dark divine dragon. As the saying goes, dragons have 9 sons and each of them is different. The thorn dragon has inherited the innate talent and attributes of the light and dark divine dragon. Wang Xian's eyes flickered as he looked at the heart of the thorn dragon. A thorn dragon that was the size of a palm was a combination of light and darkness. Its form was similar to the Ao Yao Yao of today. However, it was only half light and half darkness. The Ao Yao could only be considered as a half-completed spiky dragon. The main reason was that it only possessed the light attribute. Hence, it became the current light spike. In order to become a complete spiky dragon, one would need to evolve into a dark spike from a member of the dragon clan who possessed the darkness attribute. However, when they were combined together, they would form a spiky dragon. Ao Yao. Wang Xian looked at the heart of the spiky dragon and shouted to the side. Dragon King. Ao Yao revealed herself and looked at the heart of the spiky dragon that was floating in the air. Her eyes sparkled. Absorb it and you should be able to evolve into a complete spiky dragon. Wang Xian said to Ao Yao. It's the Dragon King. Ao Yao nodded and aimed her claws at the body of the heart of the spiky dragon. But the moment she touched it, the heart of the spiky dragon entered the body of the spiky dragon. Boom. In an instant, it was as if an energy exploded from the body of the thorn dragon. One of his eyes turned into a strange black color. Following that, half of his body began to slowly turn black. Half of it was light and the other half was darkness. A real thorn dragon, wandering between light and darkness. The strongest assassination dragon of the divine dragon race, the thorn dragon. Boom. A strange aura was emitted from Ao Yao's body. Darkness and light interweaved. The arm that had claws was emitting white light. The scythe-like arm was emitting evil darkness. Wang Xian waved his arm and quickly resisted Ao Yao's aura. A thick smile appeared on his face. Thank you, Dragon King. A few minutes later, Ao Yao kneeled on the ground respectfully and thanked him. Not bad. Although your level has only increased by 1 level, you are now qualified to hunt down a level 7 extraordinaire. Wang Xian's eyes sparkled. Ao Yao was already at the peak of level 3 extraordinaire. After the modification and evolution of the heart of the prickling dragon, he had directly upgraded to level 4 extraordinaire. With the strength of level 4 of transcendence and the complete inheritance of the prickling dragon, it was sufficient for him to possess the strength of a true divine dragon, assassinating experts who were 3 levels above him. I have also obtained the divine ability of the prickling dragon. However, due to my size, I am still inferior to Ao Yao in assassination. Wang Xian looked at his arm. With a slight movement, his arm turned into nothingness. This was the divine ability, nothingness. Other than these few divine abilities, the strongest one was the light and dark fire dragon eyes. The light and dark fire dragon eyes were the fusion of 4 eye-related divine abilities. Now, it had the same ability as before. It was even more powerful. The heart of light and dark is located at the head. The eyes are also located here. It must be affected by the heart of light and dark. Wang Xian thought to himself. Dragon King, all the missions have been selected. At this moment, a group of draconids walked over and said to Wang Xian, Dragon King, we have discovered something interesting. Someone has offered a high price to assassinate you. Assassinate me? When Wang Xian heard their words, a smile appeared on his face. I've accepted the mission. You've accepted it? The group of draconids were slightly stunned. I've accepted it. In Shanghai town there are only 3 people who will issue this mission. The leader of the Squalid Shark mercenary group, Bei Qianjun and Qingguya. After accepting the mission and receiving the reward, kill them all. Wang Xian said with a smile. To hire an assassin, one had to give a reward in advance. After the reward was given, the assassin organization would take action. Now, they found an assassin to assassinate him and actually found the Dragon Assassin organization. How interesting. It's the Dragon King. The group of draconids nodded their heads. Wang Xian took out the communication stone plate and looked at the information on the mission. He shook his head slowly. After today, I believe the entire Shanghai town will be in chaos. More than a dozen important figures, TSK. Wang Xian passed the communication stone plate to Ao Yao and said, After the draconids receive their reward, we will act immediately. Yes. Ao Yao nodded and disappeared in an instant. This time, the communication stone plate in his hand disappeared as well. In the past, if Ao Yao had something in his hand, he wouldn't be able to disappear so quickly. Now it was a piece of cake. Assassinating a level 3 extraordinary is equivalent to 20 dragon crystals in exchange for resources. Level 4 transcendent is equivalent to 100 draconic crystals. Level 5 transcendent is equivalent to 700 draconic crystals. Level 6 transcendent is equivalent to 2000 draconic crystals. Level 7 transcendent is equivalent to 10,000 draconic crystals. If these missions are completed and converted into resources, it can reach 5,000 draconic crystals. It cannot level up, but it can raise the dragon spike to a terrifying level. Chapter 902. Chapter 902, Light and Darkness. In the past 2 days, the Holy Sea town had been filled with blood. Even the ordinary people could feel the special atmosphere of the Holy Sea town. Whether it was the restaurants, the tea houses, or the Demon Hunters mercenary group, everyone was in a panic. All of the reasons were because of the Dragon Assassin group. The 5 strikes of the Dragon Assassin group had shocked everyone. Everyone was afraid. What if their enemies hired the Dragon Assassin to assassinate them? Everyone had their own thoughts. If they could kill a level 5 transcendent on the street, who couldn't be assassinated by the Dragon Assassin? At night, some people took action. At 7 or 8 o'clock in the evening, when St. C town was still bustling with activity, old men picked up interspatial rings from their fixed positions. After checking the things inside, they left with smiles on their faces. These old men looked very ordinary. They had already lived in St. C town for more than half of their lives and knew many people. No one would doubt them. However, at this moment, it was this group of people who had become the secret informants of the Dragon Assassin organization. No one would have thought that. Do it. When the rewards were obtained one by one, it was time for the Dragon Assassin to perform. In this mission, the strongest one was a transcendent rank 6 powerhouse, the patriarch of the Holy Sea town family. His strength could be ranked in the top 10 in the entire Holy Sea town. In Holy Sea town, only the mayor was a transcendent rank 9, there was only one rank 8, 3 or 4 rank 7 and rank 6, which was already considered top-notch. There was only one rank 6 expert in the mission. In the past, it was impossible to assassinate a rank 6 expert with a dragon spike, but now, it was easy for a fully formed dragon Ao Yao to assassinate him. It was even possible to assassinate a rank 7 transcendent with 70% certainty. Moreover, for the Ao Yao there was no difference between night and day. The night passed quickly. Someone's been killed. It's a dragon spike, a dragon spike. Master. Leader. At dawn today, the people of Holy Sea town were woken up by screams of shock. In the entire Holy Sea town, especially in the central area, more than 10 screams shook the central area. In the mayor's mansion in the center of Holy Sea town, a middle-aged man instantly floated in the sky, his blue eyes sweeping around. Father, what happened? At this moment, a woman also flew into the void, looking at the middle-aged man with a surprised face. The appearance of the dragon spike has made some people go crazy. The middle-aged man looked at the nearest place and said slowly, "Crazy?" The woman seemed to be deep in thought, looking at the middle-aged man with a shocked expression. That is? The Fenglian family? Their patriarch? Her eyes widened in shock. The patriarch of the Fenglian family was one of the top 5 families in Holy Sea town. Now the patriarch had been assassinated. That's good too. Killing is peace. The middle-aged man said with a smile. Then he flew down. Killing is peace. The woman murmured with a puzzled expression. Patriarch Fenglian was assassinated, a rank 6 transcendent. The captain of the Dogfish mercenary group was also killed, another rank 6 transcendent. The ancient forger was assassinated, a rank 5 transcendent. My God, I heard that in one night 2 rank 6 experts, 8 rank 5 experts, 9 rank 4 transcendents, and 13 rank 3 transcendents were assassinated. Crazy, it was the Dragon Assassin organization. In one night, more than 30 experts were killed. Congratulations on your death. When the Dragon Assassin's congratulatory note arrived, it proved that you were already dead. The head of the Fenglian family, the head of the Bei family, the head of the Qing family, the head of the Zhou family, the leader of the Horned Shark mercenary group, and the leader of the Black Ape mercenary group all died in one night. The whole Holy See town was in an uproar. If the 4 people had been assassinated yesterday, then after that night, everyone was terrified. Everyone's faces were pale. Even the people who had hired the Dragon Assassin group yesterday looked a little embarrassed. Because yesterday they could hire the Dragon Assassin group, and today the other party could also hire the Dragon Assassin group. Fear rose in everyone's hearts. Wu Sandao, come out. The enmity between the two of us should be resolved today. Either we settle it peacefully or we can go up to the arena and have a battle to settle our enmity. No one is to hire a dragon spike to assassinate us. Do you agree or not? All right, little tiger. I was just about to look for you. Come, let's go to the restaurant. Let's settle our enmity today. Kong family, Gu family is here to settle our grudges today. Come out. In this situation you guys don't want to fight to the death, right? All right, let's settle our grudges today. Whoever hires the Dragon Assassin will die a horrible death. All right, a battle between gentlemen, fair and square. In the morning some people couldn't sit still anymore. FUCK, in this world where martial force was respected, which family didn't have an enemy? What if the enemy hired the Dragon Assassin organization? They could only settle their grudges peacefully. Thus, under the dumbstruck gazes of everyone in Holy See Town, the families that used to fight each other with swords. Those mercenary groups that wanted the other party dead or alive. And those enemies that had grudges. Today they sat in the restaurant and the tea house to negotiate and reconcile. After the negotiations were successful, those hostile families stood up and shook hands with each other before heaving a sigh of relief and leaving. Seeing this scene, everyone was dumbstruck. FUCK, in the past it was said that they would not rest until one of them was dead? Why did they shake hands and make peace now? Did they have any sense of shame? However, the people involved knew that this matter was not a matter of whether they were shameless or not. If their opponents suddenly became ruthless and found a dragon to assassinate them, wouldn't they be in trouble? They didn't want to die either. If their faces were gone, they would be gone. If their lives were gone, they would lose everything. After a night of slaughter, the entire Holy See town actually became much more harmonious. However, what happened next shocked everyone. At noon, 5 or 6 families of Holy See Town collectively opened their doors of charity to help the poor families and the elderly who lived in Holy See Town. Even an alchemist family provided free medical aid to the poor. Seeing this scene, everyone widened their eyes. FUCK, all the families in Holy See Town were going to do a good deed. This dragon spike is so terrifying. The family that our city guards had to be careful with in the past, the mercenary group, is actually doing a good deed today. The rule of the dragon spike is not to kill good people. I heard that someone wanted to assassinate the head of the Tang family. The commission was very high, so the dragon spike directly rejected it. The dragon spike's 3 no-kills actually caused the current situation. A group of city guards walked on the streets as they patrolled. When they saw this scene, they were somewhat dumbstruck. The darkness had already arrived, bringing not only slaughter but also light. There was also light. Chapter 903. Chapter 903, Phoenix Immortal Pill and Weapon Workshop. The overnight massacre had caused an unimaginable change in Shanghai town. This change was something that even Wang Xian didn't expect. Light and darkness exist in the world. Where there is light, there is darkness. Similarly, where there is darkness, there is light and the heart of light and darkness. Wang Xian mumbled to himself. He could somewhat understand why light and darkness could be fused together. 2 completely opposite attributes could be fused together. This was the nature of the great Tao and the truth of heaven and earth. However, the darkness has yet to disappear. Wang Xian was full of smiles. The dragon thorns had brought darkness to the Holy See town. In the darkness, some people had turned into demons. Nowadays, even though the demons had absorbed the blood, they still existed. Many people had resolved their hatred and done good deeds during the day. However, there were still some people who still had demons in their hearts. At least for the next few days, the demons would not disappear. Dragon King, this is all the rewards from yesterday. We received a lot fewer missions today, but there are still 7 more. The Draconid came to Wang Xian's side and reported to him. Wang Xian took the interspatial ring and nodded slowly. Continue. I reckon that we will receive very few missions in the next 2 days. After these few days of craziness, the Holy See town would regain its peace. The following missions might not be as frequent. However, the spiritual stones earned in these 2 days were sufficient. Furthermore, he would let the Draconids develop their businesses in other locations, especially in Donghai City. The Demon Hunters Academy in Donghai City would enroll new students 1 month later. Similarly, Donghai City was close to the ocean. When he arrived there, Wang Xian would have to develop his business. It would be best if he could find an address of the Dragon Palace in the surrounding ocean. He would establish his foundation in this world. In the next 2 days, people died at the hands of the Dragon Assassin organization every day. The red congratulatory death note was also made known to everyone in Shanghai town. It was only on the 3rd day that the Dragon Assassin organization did not receive any missions. In the short span of 4 to 5 days, the Dragon Spike received more than 50 missions, and the number of extraordinary 6th-rank experts assassinated reached 4. The Dragon Spike's battle results caused the entire Holy See town to tremble, and even the Undercurrent Assassin group directly withdrew from Holy See town. A small town had another powerful assassin group, so there was no need for them to fight for territory. In just a few days, I have harvested a few million middle-grade spirit stones, which is enough to buy many elixirs. Next, I have to increase the strength of the members of the Dragon Spike. Wang Xian walked out of his room and headed toward the center of the town. He was going to buy elixirs. The center of the town was still bustling with activity. The assassinations over the past few days had not affected many people. Looking around, there were many elixir stores and weapon stores. However, the 3 largest stores were still the Holy Item Forging Workshop, the Life and Death Elixir Workshop, and the Immortal Phoenix Elixir and Weapon Workshop. These 3 stores were the 3 largest stores in Holy See town. 90% of people would go to these 3 stores. The 3 stores were very close to each other. With the stores wide open, one could see all kinds of weapons and elixirs inside from the outside. The martial artists who were passing by couldn't help but stop and look inside. Fengxian. Wang Xian walked towards the Fengxian Elixir and Weapons Workshop with a smile. Welcome, young master. Would you like to buy elixirs or weapons? As soon as he entered, a female attendant came up to him with a smile and asked Wang Xian. Elixirs. Wang Xian replied directly and looked at the location of the elixirs. Young master, that is the area for elixirs. Young master, you can choose by yourself. The female attendant pointed to the right and said. Wang Xian nodded and walked over. There were quite a number of customers in the Fengxian Elixir and Weapons Workshop. There were also more than a dozen people in the elixir area. Some were asking about the price while others were asking about the effects of the elixirs. From ordinary pills to transcendent level 5 pills, they were all sold. As for higher grade pills, they were not placed on the stage. More expensive pills were sometimes auctioned. The Immortal Phoenix Pill and Weapons Workshop would sometimes auction some precious pills on the 2nd floor. Shopkeeper, have you got the detoxification pills? At this time, 4 or 5 people who were obviously members of a mercenary group walked in and asked the old man standing inside. I'm sorry everyone. We don't have the detoxification pill yet. We lack a kind of spiritual herb. The shopkeeper shook his head bitterly. Why don't we have it yet? How are we going to go to the Black Sea area to do a mission? The 5 people frowned and showed some impatience on their faces. Sigh, why can't all the pill workshops in the Holy See town buy it? After saying that, the 5 of them left immediately. The old shopkeeper shook his head slowly. Wang Xian took a look. In the Transcendence continent, not only were there powerful elixirs, but there were also many elixirs that could resist poison, detoxify poison, and provide special assistance. Some places would have miasma while some ferocious beasts and demonic beasts contained poison. Hence, special elixirs were needed to provide assistance. The prices of these elixirs were not low either. However, they were essential items for the mercenary group. Haha, shopkeeper Lu, heaven below grass. At this moment, a hearty laugh came from outside. Heaven below grass found it? Shopkeeper Lu, who was sitting inside, was slightly stunned. Soon after, an excited expression appeared on his face, and he hurriedly walked out. Commander Sansi, have you really found it? Shopkeeper Lu asked somewhat excitedly. Of course, 35 stalks, the rarest ingredient to refine the detoxification pill. Outside, a dozen middle-aged youths stood there, their faces beaming with pride. Good. We are willing to give you a satisfactory reward after the Mercenary Association's mission reward. Of course, if Commander Shahai wants to exchange it for pills, that's fine too. Shopkeeper Lu said to the middle-aged man excitedly. Okay, The middle-aged man nodded with a smile on his face. Wait, Commander Shanghai, how about you give us the heaven below grass? At this moment, a voice came from the side. We will also give Commander Shanghai a satisfactory reward. A woman slowly walked out and looked at Commander Shanghai and the others with a smile on her face. Shopkeeper Ching, what do you mean? Shopkeeper Lu looked at the woman with a gloomy face and asked with a gloomy face. The one with the highest price gets it. The woman said with a smile on her face. The one with the highest price gets it? Commander Shanghai is a cooperative mercenary group of our Immortal Phoenix Pill and Weapons Workshop. Don't tell me Shopkeeper Ching wants to buy it at twice the price? Shopkeeper Lu asked with a cold smile. Twice the price is too high. Shopkeeper Ching shook his head with a smile on his face. He turned his head and looked to the side. Commander Shanghai, do me a favor and give this heaven billow grass to Shopkeeper Ching of the Life and Death Medicinal Pill Workshop. Let's be friends. At this moment an old man slowly walked over. His gaze swept the surroundings before finally landing on Commander Shanghai and the others. Oh. Seeing the old man arrive, Shopkeeper Lu's expression instantly changed. Chapter 904. Chapter 904, Phoenix Immortal Crisis. An old man and a one-armed, one-eyed old man. The old man looked extremely ugly. There was a long scar on his face. The scar was 3 to 4 centimeters deep. That eye was directly blinded by this attack. Even if such an old man had a smile on his face, he still looked extremely ferocious. The murderous aura on his body could not be hidden at all. Dao Hen. Shopkeeper Lu's expression changed slightly, and he shouted at the one-eyed old man involuntarily. Commander Dao Hen. The middle-aged commander of the San Sea mercenary group at the side also had a slight change in expression, and he shouted at the old man. Dao Hen was a very strange name. No one would choose this name. In fact, the old man was not called Dao Hen in the past. However, when he was middle-aged, which was 100 years ago, he was only the commander of a bronze mercenary group. Later, when he was on a mission in the wild, he was ambushed by another mercenary group and was almost killed by a slash. However, he was lucky enough to escape death. Since then he let others call him Dao Hen. 2 years later he killed the mercenary group that ambushed them. Ever since that narrow escape, Dao Hen began to rise. He even used 100 years to establish Dao Hen mercenary group. The number 1 mercenary group in Holy Sea Town, the leader of a 5-star gold mercenary group. A rank 7 transcendent. Dao Hen's strength and influence in Holy Sea Town could be ranked in the top 3. He didn't have any enemies in Holy Sea Town, because those who provoked him were already dead. Dao Hen was a legend in Holy Sea Town, and no one dared to provoke him. How is it, Commander San Sea? Dao Hen looked at the shocked expressions of the people around him and ignored them. He looked at Commander Shanghai with one eye and said with a faint smile. However, in Shanghai's eyes, Dao Hen's smile and eyes seemed to be full of warning. This made his forehead break out in a cold sweat. Dao Hen's name was not something that a 5-star silver mercenary group like him could provoke. But, Commander Shanghai stuttered as he looked at Shopkeeper Lu. Shopkeeper Lu saw Dao Hen's invisible threat and his expression was extremely ugly. Dao Hen, the Shanghai mercenary group is our partner. Do you wish to withdraw your threat? Threat? Did I threaten Commander Shanghai? Haha, Shopkeeper Lu, you can't speak carelessly. Dao Hen turned to Shopkeeper Lu in surprise and said with a smile. Shopkeeper Lu looked at Dao Hen's expression and his face darkened. Dao Hen, are you going to interfere in our matters with the Life and Death Pill Workshop? I'm not involved. I'm just asking Commander Shanghai to give face. What? Are you going to interfere with this, Shopkeeper Lu? Dao Hen's gaze was somewhat cold as he stared at Shopkeeper Lu. When he was cold, he looked even more terrifying, as if he was going to attack at any time. Dao Hen, you and I are not young. We all know what you mean. Manager Lu said coldly with a dark face. Speaking of which, he was really not afraid of Dao Hen. Even if he was the commander of the strongest mercenary group in Holy Sea Town, everyone feared Dao Hen. However, he had the support of the Immortal Phoenix Pill and Weapons Workshop. The power behind him was not something that a 5-star gold mercenary group could provoke. Even with the power of the Risk Pill and Weapons Workshop, destroying Knife Scar was like squashing an ant. Of course, with the power of Holy Sea Town's Immortal Phoenix Pill and Weapons Workshop, it was much weaker than Knife Scar. However, this title was enough. Shopkeeper Lu, Commander Dao Hen is a friend of our life and death pill workshop. What? Do you want to suppress our friend? Do you think we are afraid of you? At this time, the woman next to him said with a smile on her face. Shopkeeper Lu's face darkened and he didn't say anything. Commander Shanghai, who was sandwiched in the middle, looked even more embarrassed. In this place their strength was the weakest. If they offended one of them, they would have no place in Holy Sea Town in the future. Manager Lu, I don't need you to lecture me. Since you say that I'm threatening, then threaten me. Manager Lu, who was at the side, smiled darkly. It seems that Commander Dao Hen is going to completely make things difficult for us, Phoenix Immortal. Manager Lu narrowed his eyes and said to Dao Hen. Old thing, you only have the strength of a transcendent 4th rank, yet you dare to talk to me like this. Do you really think that I have to respect you just because you have the backing of the Phoenix Immortal Pill and Weapons Workshop? A threat? I'll show you what a threat is today. Dao Hen's face suddenly became ferocious. He looked at the Immortal Phoenix Pill and Weapons Workshop with one eye and said coldly, Everyone from the Immortal Phoenix Pill and Weapons Workshop, get out here. In the future, you'd better not let me see you step into it again. Suddenly, Dao Hen shouted directly into the Immortal Phoenix Pill and Weapons Workshop. His cold voice spread across the surrounding streets. All the people in the shop were slightly shocked, and their faces showed astonishment. However, when they saw Dao Hen outside, their faces changed and they walked out in surprise. Dao Hen, do you know what you are doing? Shopkeeper Lu saw Dao Hen directly threatening the customers in the shop, and his face changed greatly. He stared at Dao Hen and asked, Do you want me to repeat it again? In the future, don't let me see anyone enter the Immortal Phoenix Pill and Weapons Workshop. Dao Hen coldly pointed at the shop's signboard and said with a smile. Everyone who had just walked out looked at it in shock. Dao Hen actually dared to go against the Immortal Phoenix Pill and Weapons Workshop. What's going on? What happened? Why did Dao Hen have a conflict with the Immortal Phoenix Pill and Weapons Workshop? Although the Immortal Phoenix Pill and Weapons Workshop's strength is not as good as Dao Hen's, this is still a huge pill and weapons shop after all. The power behind it is extremely terrifying. Why would Dao Hen provoke it so recklessly? Some of the martial artists who passed by were shocked as they stood around and watched. Did you hear that? Dao Hen's face was full of smiles as he slowly spat out 2 words. I heard it. When the customers who walked out saw Dao Hen's expression, their expressions changed slightly. In St. C Town they could choose not to come to the Immortal Phoenix Pill and Weapons Workshop, but they absolutely could not provoke Dao Hen. Haha, I also don't recommend that everyone go to the Immortal Phoenix Pill and Weapons Workshop to buy things. If you want to buy weapons and pills, you can go to the Life and Death Pill Formula and the Holy Item Weapon Workshop. At this moment, a loud laughter was heard. Everyone quickly looked over and saw a middle-aged man and an old man leading a group of people over. That is, the shopkeeper of the Holy Item Forging Workshop and the leader of the Mirage Sea Mercenary Group. Look, shopkeeper Ching of the Life and Death Pill Workshop is also here. Could it be that this is a game between the 3 major forces? When the surrounding people saw the people from the Biological Forging Workshop arrive, their expressions changed slightly as they whispered their suspicions. Shopkeeper Lu's expression also changed drastically as his eyes flickered with a luster. This was a premeditated counterattack, a game between the 3 great forces. However, it was clear that their Phoenix Immortal Pill and Weapons Workshop had been targeted. This caused his heart to sink. No wonder Dao Hen dared to go against them. Chapter 905. Chapter 905, Poor Kid. At the center of Holy Sea Town, in front of the 3 largest pill and weapon workshops, a dense crowd gathered. Life and Death Pill Workshop. Holy Item Forging Workshop. Immortal Phoenix Pill and Weapon Workshop. The 3 top forces, these 3 pill and weapon workshops, occupied 50 to 60% of the continent's pill and weapon. 50 to 60% was already a very terrifying number, almost a monopoly. It was the same in St. C Town. The other small pill and weapon workshops were living in the cracks between them. The Immortal Phoenix Pill and Weapon Workshop had risen in the past 2 years. Its rise was extremely terrifying, and it quickly took over the entire Star Moon Kingdom. It sold both pills and weapons. It was obvious that the Immortal Phoenix Pill and Weapon Workshop would offend the Life and Death Pill Workshop and the Holy Item Pill Workshop. Today this situation was clearly targeted by the 2 great factions. The surrounding people were discussing this scene in hushed tones. Shopkeeper Lu stood there with an extremely ugly expression. The employees of the Phoenix Elixir and Weapons Workshop walked out one by one and watched this scene with indignation. The two major forces were targeting each other. The number 1 mercenary group in the Holy See, the Knife Scar mercenary group, and the number 4 mercenary group in the Holy See, the Mirage Sea mercenary group. With the help of the two major mercenary groups, the Phoenix Elixir and Weapons Workshop was helpless in such a situation. At this moment, Wang Xian, who was standing in the shop, was watching this scene with a twinkle in his eyes. It seems that the shop set up by Feng Luan has been targeted. Wang Xian was deep in thought as he looked at the leader of the Sword Scar and Mirage Sea mercenary groups. One of them was at level 7 and the other was at level 6 of the supernatural realm. Furthermore, they had 400 to 500 people in their mercenary groups. They were definitely a big force. Since we have bumped into each other, let's help. Wang Xian was full of smiles as he looked at the stunned crowd. He shouted with a smile, "Everyone from Fengxian, are you still doing business? Buy some elixirs." His voice suddenly rang across the entire street, causing everyone around to be slightly stunned. Especially shopkeeper Dao Henqing and the rest. When they heard this voice, they immediately looked towards Wang Xian's location. This young man. An old man opened his mouth in astonishment. What is this young man doing? Buying things at this time? Is he that stupid? What an idiot. After what happened to him, Dao Hen even shouted. How dare he buy things at this time? That's true. There are more and more brainless people nowadays. Do you guys think Dao Hen will make an example out of this kid? It's hard to say. However, judging from the clothes on this kid's body, the most he can buy is a level 1 extraordinary elixir. Everyone's gaze was focused on Wang Xian as they discussed in a low voice. Even Manager Lu, who was at the side, was stunned. However, at this moment, there were still people who dared to come to their shop to buy things. Even if it was the cheapest elixir, they would still sell it. Go and receive this little brother. Manager Lu said to a salesperson with a sullen face. I didn't expect to meet a brainless guy. Dao Hen's face turned sullen when he saw that Wang Xian still dared to buy things at the Fengxian Elixir and Weapons Workshop after hearing his words. Haha, so be it. Look, only a stupid guy would buy things at Fengxian. Those with a little bit of intelligence wouldn't buy them. However, shopkeeper Qing, who was standing at the side, didn't get angry. Instead, she said with a loud laugh. I hope that the others won't be as stupid as this little guy. As she said that, she swept her gaze across everyone gathered around her with a face full of smiles. Finally, her gaze fell on shopkeeper Lu once again. Shopkeeper Lu, why aren't you going over to serve the customer in your shop? Who knows, the other party might buy a transcendent tier 1 medicinal pill. A mocking voice rang out in the surroundings, causing shopkeeper Liu's expression to change drastically. Haha, shopkeeper Lu, hurry up and go. If your service isn't good enough, that foolish brat might not be buying medicinal pills from you anymore. Ah. Beside him, the shopkeeper of the Holy Item Forging Workshop was also laughing out loud as he mocked. In the future, with the Life and Death Medicinal Pill Workshop and the Holy Item Forging Workshop targeting us, Fengxian is finished. Sai, there are many things in Fengxian that are cheaper than the two of them. However, with the presence of Dao Hen and the Mirage Sea mercenary group, who would still dare to go to Fengxian to buy things? Only those foolish brats would dare to go there. Even if they were to buy, they would probably only buy transcendent level rank 1 medicinal pills. They might not even be at the transcendent level. The people around were discussing softly. Foolish kid. At most, he would buy elixirs of level 1 extraordinaire. Wang Xian was standing at the entrance. When he heard their sarcasm, a hint of disdain flashed across his eyes. He swept his gaze across the surroundings and the corner of his mouth curled up slightly. Manager Lu, I want to buy a large number of elixirs. Please come over and we can have a discussion. Ha. Wang Xian suddenly spoke again, causing Manager Lu's expression to change. He was a little surprised and in disbelief. Ha, shopkeeper Lu, hurry up and go. Maybe the other party wants to buy 2 extraordinary first-level pills? At this moment, shopkeeper Qing's teasing voice came from the side. Everyone around felt that it was funny. They suspected that this young man was someone that the Life and Death Pill Workshop and the Holy Item Forging Workshop had deliberately found and humiliated them. Manager Lu had also thought of this. His face was so gloomy that blood almost dripped from it. However, as a manager, if he didn't go over, he would definitely become a weakness for the other party. Wang Xian saw everyone's mockery of Manager Lu and revealed a faint smile on his face. He moved his arm. Crush. In an instant, middle-grade spirit stones landed at the entrance of Feng Xian's interspatial ring. The crisp and melodious sound caused everyone to be slightly stunned. This? Everyone looked over and their eyes widened. Their eyes were filled with disbelief. Spirit stones, middle-grade spirit stones, piles and piles of middle-grade spirit stones were released from the interspatial ring. Walala. The sound was still not over. Slowly, spirit stones that were 3 meters tall, 5 meters long, and 2 meters thick were piled up like a wall. The middle-grade spirit stones were pure and emitted spiritual energy. Under the sunlight, they emitted a 7-colored glow. I want to buy elixirs. I want to buy elixirs that cost 8 million middle-grade spirit stones. Wang Xian said to Manager Lu with a smile on his face. Manager Lu's eyes were wide open. He was completely stunned. The surrounding manager Dao Henqing and the people from the Holy Item Forging Workshop were also stunned. Hiss, this. Everyone around also widened their eyes and sucked in a breath of cold air. Their faces were filled with shock as they looked at the pile of middle-grade spirit stones that formed a wall. 8 million, this was 8 million middle-grade spirit stones. The corpse of a transcendent rank 6 demonic beast was worth between 500,000 to 800,000. The corpse of a demonic beast could be refined into medicine and weapons. Its value was several times higher than transcendent rank 6 medicinal pills and weapons. However, these 8 million mid-grade spirit stones could buy the corpses of more than 10 transcendent tier 6 demonic beasts. They could buy 50 to 60 transcendent tier 6 pills and weapons. 50 to 60 pills? What kind of concept was that? Chapter 906. Chapter 906, 8 million medium-grade spirit stones. There were no more than 20 extraordinary 6th-grade experts in the entire Holy See town. However, these extraordinary 6th-grade experts would definitely fight for a transcendent 6th-grade medicinal pill. 8 million medium-grade spirit stones was equivalent to the annual turnover of the 3 largest shops, the Life and Death Pill Workshop, the Saint Item Forging Workshop, and the Immortal Phoenix Pill and Weapon Workshop. 8 million middle-grade spirit stones wasn't a lot in the entire Holy See town. However, this young man had taken out 8 million middle-grade spirit stones in one go. A poor kid. A foolish fellow? Looking at the 8 million middle-grade spirit stones that were flickering with light, everyone's minds were in a daze. Most of the people in the surroundings had seen the most spirit stones in their entire lives, and these were probably the ones before their eyes. If they were not in the city, everyone would have gone crazy to snatch them. Cough, 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 cough. Shopkeeper Lu suddenly coughed violently. There was a flash of passion in his eyes as he said, young master, are you really going to use all of them to buy elixirs? Do you think I'm joking with you? Wang Xian smiled faintly. No. How could this be? Young master, we will immediately prepare whatever elixirs you want to buy. If there isn't enough in the shop, we will immediately go to other shops to get them. Shopkeeper Lu waved his hand quickly and walked up to him with a face full of enthusiasm. He was afraid that Wang Xian was teasing him. If you see, there were so many spirit stones. As long as he could get this business, it would be equivalent to 2 to 3 years of Feng Xian's turnover. So what if he was being ostracized by the other 2 major forces? In 2 to 3 years he would have a way to tide over this crisis. Shopkeeper Lu looked at him with excitement and anticipation. Wang Xian waved his arm and kept all the spiritual stones into his interspatial ring. Then he threw the interspatial ring directly to Shopkeeper Lu. Go in and get the elixirs. When Shopkeeper Lu saw that Wang Xian had thrown the interspatial ring that contained 8 million spiritual stones over, his arm trembled as he hurriedly took it. All right. Young master, what kind of elixirs do you want? We will prepare them for you. Shopkeeper Lu's face was flushed red. Damn it, the other party actually gave him the interspatial ring directly. This business was 100% successful. Wang Xian nodded his head faintly. It wasn't that he trusted Shopkeeper Lu, but rather he trusted Feng Yuan. Something had happened in Feng Xian's elixir and weapons workshop. He would help as much as he could. All right. Wang Xian nodded his head faintly. This. However, Shopkeeper Qing of the Life and Death Elixir Workshop, the shopkeeper of the Holy Item Forging Workshop, Dao Hen and the rest were completely dumbfounded. They were still ridiculing Shopkeeper Lu earlier on. They even said that the kid was a poor kid who could only buy 2 extraordinary first-level elixirs at most. In an instant it was a slap in the face. Moreover, it was so loud and clear. Their mockery seemed to be mocking themselves in front of the 8 million spiritual stones. This caused everyone's expressions to change drastically. The real person doesn't show his face. Who would have thought that he actually has so many spirit stones? Oh my god, I really can't believe it. He's too rich. FUCK, after this Feng Xian completes this business, she can completely close the shop for 2 to 3 years. The eyes of everyone around flashed with shock. They looked at shopkeeper Dao Henqing and the others, their expressions somewhat mocking. That's right, they were mocking. Shopkeeper Qing and the others' expressions slowly became ugly. She looked at Dao Hen at the side. Dao Hen's one eye flashed with a luster. I said, whoever dares to buy things from the Phoenix Immortal is not giving me face, kid. Dao Hen, I'm warning you. If you dare to threaten our customers, the Life and Death Medicinal Pill Workshop will definitely not be able to protect you. Shopkeeper Lu was instantly enraged when he heard Dao Hen's voice. He turned his head and stared at him coldly. Dao Hen's expression changed slightly when he heard Shopkeeper Lu's angry threat. If he were to say that he had so arrogantly ruined Feng Xian's 8 million middle-grade spirit stones business, he did not dare to guarantee that the forces behind Feng Xian would directly send experts to eliminate him. That was because the benefits this time were too great. Young master, don't worry. If anyone dares to threaten you, I will immediately report this matter to the headquarters. I believe that the headquarters will definitely send experts to eliminate the person who threatened you. Shopkeeper Lu assured Wang Xian forcefully. I believe. Wang Xian smiled faintly and walked straight into the shop. He was not afraid of Dao Hen or the Mirage Sea mercenary group at all. Ao Yao's current strength was stronger than Wang Xian's. She could definitely fight against Dao Hen. Alright, what kind of pills do you want to buy, young master? Shopkeeper Lu asked respectfully. Someone who could take out 8 million middle-grade spirit stones in one go must be extraordinary. Bring all the elixirs in your shop that can improve your cultivation. Wang Xian said to Manager Lu directly. All the elixirs that can improve your cultivation? Good. Manager Lu was slightly surprised. However, he nodded immediately and led him to the back. The elixirs that could improve one's cultivation contained a lot more dragon crystals than those that could detoxify the poison. 8 million spirit stones to buy these elixirs could be exchanged for 5 to 6,000 dragon crystals according to Wang Xian's estimation. 5 to 6,000 dragon crystals was not enough to upgrade Wang Xian, but it was enough to upgrade the group of thorn dragons. At the very least, it would be able to nurture another transcendent level 4 light spike. The rest of them would be able to upgrade to transcendent level 3 without any problems. Young man, you have bought so many of our pills. I can make the decision and give you the cheapest price. I can make the decision by giving you a 10% discount. Shopkeeper Lu said to Wang Xian, if this young master wants to buy pills, you can come to me. I will definitely give you the cheapest price. All right. Wang Xian took the bottles of pills and placed them into his interspatial ring. Then he had an idea and asked, Shopkeeper Lu, may I know what kind of mission your Feng Xian has issued in the hiring association? Mission? Manager Lu's face was filled with astonishment. We didn't issue many missions either. There were only 3. Among them, the mission to find the Heaven Billow Grass has the highest level. It's a 5-star silver mission. The remaining one is a 4-star bronze mission and a 5-star bronze mission. As Manager Lu spoke, he took out a mission stone plate. Pointing at it, he said, these 3 missions were issued by U.S. However, these 3 missions were also issued by the Life and Death Elixir Workshop and other small pharmacies. Therefore, we will give them some rewards after we have completed the mission. It's also for them to give us the mission items. Wang Xian nodded his head slowly. All right, goodbye. As he spoke, he walked straight out. Young master, if you need anything in the future, you can come and look for me. Shopkeeper Lu said hurriedly. Don't worry, we will meet soon. Wang Xian waved his hand and walked out. At the entrance, shopkeeper Dao Henqing and the people from the Holy Item Forging Workshop had not left yet. When they saw Wang Xian coming out, they looked extremely embarrassed. It was a business of 8 million middle-grade spirit stones. Hee. Wang Xian smiled faintly and left in a carefree manner. Chapter 907. Chapter 907. Target, Gold Mercenary Group. Who is this kid? How could he take out 8 million middle-grade spirit stones? On the street in front of the Phoenix Immortal shop, shopkeeper Qing asked Dao Hen with an embarrassed expression. Dao Hen's eyes flickered with a dark expression, but he didn't say anything. Humph, so what if you take down a huge business? In the future, there will be no place for them in Holy See Town. Shopkeeper Qing snorted coldly with an embarrassed expression and left angrily. When the people from the Holy Item Forging Workshop saw this scene, they raised their eyebrows and returned to their own shop. Dao Hen and the rest of the mercenary group also left, leaving behind the passers-by who were filled with shock and discussion. Mission. At this moment, Wang Xian, who was walking towards his residence, opened the mission stone tray and looked at the missions on it. There were 3 missions issued by the Fengxian Elixir and Weapons Workshop. They were Bronze 4-star Star Grass, Bronze 5-star Blood Flame Stone, and Silver 5-star Star Sky Wave Grass. The Star Grass and Sky Wave Grass were located in the Black Sea area. The Black Sea area was a place that the mercenary group was very keen to visit. The Black Sea area was located 60 kilometers away from the shore of Shanghai Jinhai. There was a ferocious beast living in this sea area, a jellyfish. It was different from the jellyfish on Earth, but it had a common toxicity. This kind of toxic paralyzing effect was mostly effective. Once it was hit, it would become the jellyfish beast's food. The strength of the jellyfish beast ranged from Transcendent Level 1 to Transcendent Level 5. The teeth, flesh and poison sacs in the body of the jellyfish beast were all precious items. Therefore, many mercenary groups came here to hunt the jellyfish. Because of the influx of large numbers of mercenary groups, the Transcendent Rank 2 and Rank 3 detoxification pills quickly ran out. The lack of detoxification pills resulted in fewer mercenary groups entering the Black Sea area. And with fewer mercenary groups, naturally the ingredients for detoxification pills and other spiritual herbs growing in the Black Sea area became more difficult to obtain, resulting in the current situation where detoxification pills were rare. Even all the pill stores in the entire Holy See Town did not have the detoxification pill. This was also the reason why the Life and Death Pill Workshop had made an early move after learning that the Sand Sea Mercenary Group had obtained the Heaven Billow Grass. Currently, a group of Draconids has gone to other towns to develop the market of the Dragon Assassin organization. If we want to increase our strength in a short period of time, we'll need other methods. The fastest way to complete a mission is to devour the aquatic creatures. At the same time, we can complete the mission and obtain resources, killing 2 birds with 1 stone. Wang Xian was deep in thought as he searched for all the missions related to the Black Sea. Currently, he still had a system mission that he had yet to complete. That was to upgrade to a silver mercenary group. Upon upgrading to a silver mercenary group, one would obtain extraordinary items randomly. After returning to their residence, a group of members of the Dragon Palace were cultivating in the courtyard. The strength of the Golden Swordfish clan was much weaker compared to the Thorn Dragon. The only thing they could do now was to fight a powerhouse 1 level higher than them. Out of the 11 Golden Swordfish, only Ao Jian and 2 or 3 others had reached the 3rd level of Extraordinary while the rest were at the 2nd level of Extraordinary. Wang Xian entered the room and swallowed all the elixirs into his stomach, turning them into dragon crystals. Nearly 7,000 dragon crystals. It's a little more than I expected. Wang Xian thought to himself and immediately called the group of strange demons over. The strange demons had evolved into the light-pricking dragon species. They could assassinate enemies that were 2 levels higher than them. Wang Xian had to raise their strength first. Very soon, when Wang Xian upgraded all the strange demons to Extraordinary Level 3, he spent a total of 3,900 dragon crystals. It was a huge deviation from their budget. He thought that he could create an Extraordinary Level 4, but in the end he didn't have enough dragon crystals. To upgrade a strange demon to Extraordinary Level 4, he needed 3,000 dragon crystals. Hence, the remaining 2,000 dragon crystals were used to upgrade all the golden swordfish to Extraordinary Level 3. Although it was a huge deviation from the budget, it was totally worth it. Wang Xian swept his gaze across the group of Dragon Palace members and revealed a smile. Within a short period of time, there were 32 Dragon Palace members including Ao Jianao. Golden Swordfish, 11 of them were at Transcendent Level 3. Strange Demon, 20 of them were at Transcendent Level 3, and 1 of them was at Transcendent Level 4. Wang Xian's strength was at Transcendent Level 3. This was his entire force at the moment. Due to the uniqueness of the Divine Dragon bloodline, They had the ability to fight against opponents of a higher level. AO Demon, who was the strongest, could fight against a level 7 extraordinaire. Wang Xian, on the other hand, could fight against a level 6 extraordinaire. A group of light spikes could fight against a level 5 extraordinaire. Golden Swordfish could fight against a level 4 extraordinaire. This force was extremely strong in Shanghai town. Could definitely be ranked in the top 5. Let's go. Let's go and carry out our mission. The Dragon Assassin organization has already become famous in Shanghai town. Next, it's time for the Fairy Phoenix mercenary group. The corners of Wang Xian's mouth curled up slightly as he led the group of members of the Dragon Palace out. The Dogfish mercenary group had been annihilated. Bei Qianjun and Jianghu Cliff had also been assassinated. Now there were no more obstacles in Shanghai town. The group walked out of the city. Is that the young man? However, just as Wang Xian reached the door, a surprised voice came from the side. Wang Xian's heart stirred slightly as he looked to the side. Race human. Good and evil, -15. Strength, level 5 extraordinary. Weakness, the second rib on the waist, eyes. His gaze landed on a middle-aged man. Instantly, a figure appeared in his mind. The ability of the Dark Fire Dragon Eye was an extremely powerful ability. Through the Dark Fire Dragon Eye, he was able to see a person's good and evil. Good and evil came from the ability of the Heart of Light and Darkness. Being able to see a person's strength came from the ability of the Eye of the Heavenly Dragon. Being able to see a person's weakness came from the ability of the Piercing Pupil. All sorts of abilities overlapped together, forming the powerful eye technique of today. There were more than 10 people beside the middle-aged man. They were fully armed and were also walking towards the wilderness. Obviously, they were also carrying out a mission. On their chest there was a badge. Mirage Sea Mercenary Group, 5-star silver rank. It's that young man from this morning who took out 8 million. Beside the middle-aged man, a young man's eyes flickered as he said in a low voice. That's right. However, from the looks of it, they seem to have left the city. A 2-star bronze rank mercenary group, he. A skinny woman licked her lips and tightened her grip on the saber. Captain and the rest are looking for information on this young man now. Let's go. Let's follow them. The middle-aged man in the middle had a greedy look on his face as he said softly. Wang Xian sensed the gazes of everyone. He smiled and continued to walk out. As long as you dare to come over, I will make you into the nourishment of the dragon pool. Wang Xian thought to himself. He walked straight out of the city gate and flew towards the Black Sea. His speed was not very fast and he did not hide anything at all. Wang Xian could easily notice a group of more than 10 people following behind him. 40 minutes later, Wang Xian and the rest arrived at a sea area. The sea water was ink-colored with some weak toxins. This sea area was the edge of the Black Sea. The entire Black Sea area occupied an area of 70 to 80 kilometers. Chapter 908. Chapter 908. Someone was courting death. At the edge of the Black Sea, it was usually an extraordinary level 1 or level 2 jellyfish. The more central it was, the stronger the jellyfish was. There was not even a single sea bird in the sky above the entire sea area. It seemed a little desolate. There are 10 bronze level missions and 7 silver level missions. Wang Xian looked at the entire Black Sea and revealed a smile. 10 bronze level missions, 5 4-star bronze level missions and 5 5-star bronze level missions. If they could complete them, the Celestial Phoenix Mercenary Group would be able to attain 5-star bronze level missions. In addition to the 7 silver level missions, they would be able to attain 2-star silver level and 3-star silver level missions after completing all of them. Such an improvement speed was absolutely terrifying. Let's go in. Wang Xian ignored the group of people who had been following behind them and entered the Black Sea directly. Captain, they entered the Black Sea as well. What a coincidence. At this moment, when they saw Wang Xian and the rest entering the Black Sea, they paused in the air and said with smiles on their faces. That's right. What a coincidence. Manager Qian got us some detoxifying pills from the Life and Death Elixir Workshop today. It's perfect. Let's complete a few missions and then play with them. The middle-aged man said with a smile on his face. He moved his body and dived into the sea. Let's go. The poison in the sea has yet to reach the supernatural realm. One will die immediately if they enter the sea. Wang Xian entered the sea and felt the poison inside. He thought to himself. However, as a divine dragon, the poison posed no threat to him. It didn't even pose any threat to the golden swordfish and the rest. In the water, their combat ability would be even stronger. Wang Xian's eyes flickered as he looked around. This is the devil's nest at the bottom of the sea? Wang Xian looked down. The entire area was more than 20,000 meters deep. There seemed to be many mountain ranges below. Many of the mountain ranges at the bottom of the sea had huge holes that looked like the devil's nest at the bottom of the sea. The devil's nest at the bottom of the sea is the nest of the jellyfish. Some of the devil's nests are connected together. The celestial star grass and the heaven waves grass live in these nests. The celestial star grass grows above the nest while the heaven waves grass lives inside. Wang Xian recalled the information about the Black Sea and looked at the nests below. The jellyfish lived in these nests that were like demon caves. If they wanted to gain something, they had to enter the demon caves. Or they could lure the jellyfish out. The mercenary group determined the strength of the jellyfish based on the size of the devil's lair. Wang Xian moved his body and flew straight down. When he arrived at this mountain range that was in the middle of the ocean, Wang Xian scanned the surrounding devil's lair. Let's go. Without any hesitation, he flew straight to the nearest devil's lair. When he arrived in front of the demon cave, the entrance of the cave was 2 meters wide. According to the records, it should be a level 2 extraordinary jellyfish. Wang Xian swept his gaze over and his eyes sparkled. No. Not every demon cave had jellyfish. Some of the jellyfish might have been killed and there were no jellyfish living in the nest. With a move, Wang Xian arrived in front of another mountain peak. He looked at the 1 meter wide demon cave. His gaze swept across the demon cave. 10 meters away from the demon cave, a jellyfish with 6 claws and a gigantic head was lying inside. It was almost 1 meter in size and looked like an armor. Its entire head was covered with densely packed teeth. Boom. Wang Xian's body shook and a wave of divine dragon's pressure covered him directly. GG. A terrifying sound came from inside. Wang Xian's heart skipped a beat and the jellyfish immediately appeared in front of him. Hee hee. Wang Xian smiled. The control of the dragon's pressure was a complete suppression to the water tribe members who were weaker than him. When his strength reached a certain level, the dragons in this world would be able to be controlled directly. You guys go around and hunt the jellyfish. Be careful. Wang Xian looked around and said to the members of the Dragon Palace. In the area of the Black Sea, the most powerful jellyfish was only at Transcendent Level 5. The members of the Dragon Palace could easily deal with it. 1. Wang Xian controlled the jellyfish and immediately flew towards the other demon lair. His speed was very fast. With a sweep of his gaze, he could see if there were any jellyfish inside. Most of the jellyfish at the edge were at the first or second level of the supernatural realm. He unleashed his dragon's might and directly controlled them. Soon, dozens of jellyfish gathered behind Wang Xian. In the surroundings, golden swordfish and strange demons were also killing the jellyfish one by one. With their strength, they were not much slower than Wang Xian. Why are there no signs of the jellyfish in the caves? The detoxification pills have been cut off recently, so there shouldn't be so few jellyfish. Could it be that there are experts here? Also, why did the young man and the rest who entered the water earlier disappear as well? At this moment, the Mirage Sea mercenary group who was at the back, looked around and asked with an embarrassed expression. They must have realized that there are no jellyfish beasts in the surrounding caves, so they went to the front. Let's speed up. The middle-aged captain pondered and said. He immediately quickened his pace. Boom. At this moment, Wang Xian waved his arm 1,000 meters in front of them. A ball of seawater surrounded an extraordinary level 3 jellyfish. The terrifying water energy entered its body directly. Wang Xian moved his body and turned into a divine dragon to devour it. Ding. Devouring the jellyfish. Extracting 9 dragon crystals. The system's voice rang out. Wang Xian shook his head slowly. Upgrading required 10,000 dragon crystals. A level 3 transcendent could only provide 9 dragon crystals. He needed to devour more than 1,000 level 3 aquatic creatures before he could reach level 4 transcendent. After Wang Xian devoured the jellyfish, he immediately entered the nest of the jellyfish. When a jellyfish reached extraordinary level 3, the things secreted from its body would be able to grow the heaven star grass and heaven billow grass. Wang Xian entered the nest but did not discover anything. He immediately came out. Continue. His body moved and continued to advance forward. The surrounding members of the Dragon Palace were also advancing forward rapidly. One by one the jellyfish were killed quickly. Some of the members of the Dragon Palace found some Heaven Star grass and Heaven Billow grass inside. Boom! Wang Xian waved his arm and a huge dragon claw condensed in the sea water. He killed an extraordinary level 3 jellyfish. He had a thought and kept it into his interspatial ring. He entered the ring and saw a Heaven Billow grass in the depths of the ring. He smiled. The Black Sea area with a radius of 70 to 80 kilometers can be easily defeated. Wang Xian revealed a confident expression. Haha, you're quite fast, huh? It seems like you've made some gains? At this moment, a voice came from the side. Wang Xian quickly looked over. You're really courting death. Chapter 909. Chapter 909, was easily killed. 10,000 meters under the sea, in front of an underwater mountain, a group of more than 10 people stood in front of a devil den. At the entrance of the devil den, a golden swordfish stood there, expressionlessly staring at the dozen people in front of it. Hee, I really don't know why a small 2-star bronze mercenary group has so many spiritual stones. The woman next to the middle-aged captain sized up the golden swordfish. Are your other members nearby? Call them over. The middle-aged captain revealed a greedy look. A 2-star bronze mercenary group and a young captain who could take out 8 million spirit stones. Perhaps this mercenary group and that young man weren't simple, but after seeing their strength, greed rose in their hearts. The group of young men holding long swords only had the strength of a rank 3 transcendent, so what was there to be afraid of? To be able to reach this step, they not only possessed courage but also decisiveness. My companions are all around. They heard your voice just now, they should be rushing over soon. The golden swordfish looked around and said to the group of over 10 people with a smile. Are you very confident? The middle-aged captain saw the expression of the golden swordfish and narrowed his eyes slightly. He swept his gaze around and gestured to the people around him. The members of the Mirage Sea Mercenary Group nodded slowly and dispersed. Mirage Sea Mercenary Group, do we have any enmity with you? Wang Xian walked over and swept his gaze across all of them as he asked expressionlessly. At this moment, the golden swordfish in the surroundings also flew over and stared at all of them with an expressionless face. The middle-aged captain didn't say anything. He sized up Wang Xian and the rest again and again before he slowly narrowed his eyes. There's no enmity, the middle-aged captain said with a smile. Then why are you surrounding our team members? Wang Xian smiled when he saw how vigilant they were. As expected of a seasoned mercenary group, they didn't even make a move under such circumstances. Attack. All of a sudden, the middle-aged captain moved and gave the order to attack Wang Xian. It's really... Wang Xian shook his head slowly when he saw their attack. The sound of penetration was heard. The expression of the middle-aged captain who had just leaped up changed drastically. When he turned his head around, a terrifying white figure appeared beside his subordinate. A weapon as sharp as a sickle directly killed them. Pooh! Before he could react, a sharp claw directly pierced through his body, causing his eyes to widen as he looked at the smiling youth. This kind of creature? The spirit stones on his body, could it be? Suddenly, before his death, a thought flashed across the middle-aged man's mind. Following that, he widened his eyes. His eyes were filled with disbelief. The Dragon Assassin Organization. He widened his eyes and growled in a low voice with a face full of shock. Following his words, blood kept spurting out of his mouth. Wang Xian moved his arm and stored their corpses into his interspatial ring. These were rare nutrients. Let's go, let's continue. Clean up this area within 5 days. Wang Xian said to the members of the Dragon Palace before returning to his original position. Wang Xian did not care about the more than 10 people from the Mirage Sea Mercenary Group. Since they were seeking death, Wang Xian would not be merciful either. They continued to advance forward. With Wang Xian and the rest's abilities, their speed was extremely fast. It had been 2 to 3 years since many mercenary groups had come to the Black Sea region. This caused the number of jellyfish to increase. There were quite a number of celestial star grass and heaven billow grass. I wonder how the mercenary groups will react when they discover that there are no jellyfish when the celestial star grass and heaven billow grass are available in Shanghai town. Wang Xian smiled when he thought of this. However, this didn't have much of an impact. Both the celestial star grass and the heaven billow grass were used for detoxification and detoxification. They could be used in many places, not just in the Black Sea region. Wang Xian and the rest were very fast. Within 2 days they had swept across an area of more than 20 kilometers. It was only on the 3rd day when they were close to the central region that their speed slowed down. It's going to be troublesome now. Wang Xian looked ahead. In front of him was an endless mountain range. The demon caves in the mountain range were no longer just a dozen meters or 20 to 30 meters deep like before. Here, the demon caves were completely connected together. They were densely packed like a demon palace. The entrance of each cave was about 4 to 5 meters in size. There were jellyfish beasts of supernatural level 4 and 5 living inside. No wonder there are no extraordinary level 6 or 7 experts to clean up the Black Sea. The jellyfish beasts here can make a fortune. Wang Xian entered the Devil's Cave and looked at the passageways that extended in all directions. He raised his eyebrows. The entire mountain range was completely cleared. He had no idea how many jellyfish beasts were inside. Moreover, even if Ao Yao Yao entered, she would feel dizzy inside. This was not a problem of perception. There were simply too many passageways. It seems like Ao Yao and Ao Jian can only stay behind me. Wang Xian had the light and dark fire dragon eyes. With the penetration of the eye of the heavenly dragon, he could push forward directly. Even so, he still had to mark the road. Let's go. Wang Xian swept his gaze across the area and noticed that there were 4 to 5 jellyfish beasts gathered at a distance of more than 500 meters. He moved his body and rushed over immediately. From the perspective of the dragon eyes of light and dark fire, it was a distance of 500 meters. However, there were a few caves that needed to be circled. In fact, the distance was more than 500 meters. When Wang Xian and the rest got closer, the 5 jellyfish that were lying on the ground instantly stood up vigilantly. Out of the 5 jellyfish, 3 of them were nearly 4 meters in size while the rest were more than 2 meters in size. Chirp, chirp. The largest jellyfish in the middle let out a low growl. The other 4 jellyfish instantly attacked Wang Xian and the rest. However, in an instant, streams of white light flashed and the 4 jellyfish were instantly killed. Chirp, chirp. When the other jellyfish saw the rapid death of its companion, a look of fear appeared in its eyes. It opened its mouth and a thick ink-colored poisonous fog directly covered Wang Xian and the rest. Meanwhile, this jellyfish was fleeing frantically towards the back. If you can't beat it, then run. Even if it's a ferocious beast, it will still possess powerful instincts when its level is higher. Wang Xian looked at the escaping jellyfish. He raised his eyebrows and moved his arm. A thorny bush emerged from the ground and completely wrapped around its body. Bang! The thorny bush entered the body of the jellyfish and easily killed it. Let's go, continue. Wang Xian moved his body and walked forward again, leaving marks in the places he passed by. The members of the Dragon Palace were observing the star grass and the heaven billow grass. Chapter 9-10. Chapter 9-10, returned with a full load. The appearance of the labyrinth-like demonic cave caused Wang Xian to slow down completely. Moreover, most of the jellyfish in the labyrinth were in groups. Every level 5 extraordinary jellyfish had 20 to 30 underlings. Once they sensed danger, they would immediately flee. Although the strongest jellyfish here was only level 5 extraordinary, it was extremely difficult to hunt them down. In this narrow area, even a level 5 extraordinaire would have a high chance of dying. Even a level 6 extraordinaire would be restricted by the surrounding rocks here. This was a place where low-level mercenary groups hunted ferocious beasts, but it was not an ideal place for a powerful mercenary group. There are actually 3 level 5 extraordinaire jellyfish beasts gathered together. There are more than 50 level 3 and 4 extraordinaire jellyfish beasts. When Wang Xian stayed in the maze for 2 days, he suddenly saw a densely populated area. There were 3 extraordinary level 5 jellyfish. Heaven billow grass, there are so many heaven billow grass. Wang Xian swept his gaze across and his eyes lit up. Currently, Wang Xian had obtained a total of more than 100 heaven billow grass. However, there were at least 50 to 60 heaven billow grass in the area in front of him. After collecting these heaven billow grass, I will leave this place. Wang Xian thought to himself. There were not many sea jelly beasts in this dark demon lair. Furthermore, there were too many passageways in the surroundings that gave him a headache. In 2 days they had only killed about 70 to 80 sea jelly beasts. Among them, many of them were at the second level of transcendence. Therefore, there was no need for them to stay here any longer. Furthermore, Wang Xian and the rest had already kept the items for the mission. Kill? Wang Xian pointed with his arm. The group of strange beasts immediately hid themselves and came to the group of jellyfish beasts lying on the ground. The highest level of strength was at level 5 transcendence. Under the attacks of Ao Yao and the rest, they were completely defenseless. After storing all the jellyfish beasts' corpses into his interspatial ring, Wang Xian looked at the heaven waves grass in front of him. There were a total of 63 heavens wave grass of extraordinary 4th level. The heavens wave grass, heaven star grass, and the carcasses of the ferocious beasts in Wang Xian's possession were worth over 1,000,000 middle-grade spirit stones. To other mercenary groups, this was something unimaginable. For example, the Horned Shark mercenary group was so powerful that it would require a huge amount of energy to kill a level 5 extraordinary horned snake. The huge horned snake was brought to the Holy Sea town and caused a huge commotion. Ferocious beasts and demonic beasts were not easy to kill. Not to mention killing a level 5 extraordinary ferocious beast and searching for spiritual herbs in Wang Xian's current environment. Even if Dao Hen, the number 1 mercenary group in the Holy Sea town, brought all his members here, their harvest might not even be 1/10 of Wang Xian's. This was even under the circumstances where Dao Hen was personally involved. Let's go. Without any hesitation, Wang Xian led the members of the Dragon Palace out of the Demon Den and headed in the direction of Xinghai Town. After successfully returning to Xinghai Town, Wang Xian headed towards the Demon Hunters Association with a smile on his face. One could pass through the mission stone plate if they accepted the mission. However, they had to go to the Demon Hunters Association if they handed in the mission. There would be many people in the Demon Hunters Association every day. The number of people in the association today was much more than usual. Wang Xian and the rest went in. They were curious when they saw many people queuing up to submit the mission. After listening for a while, they realized that it was a mercenary group from Donghai City. Every few months, the merchants of Donghai Town would gather together and hire more than a dozen mercenary groups to come to Xinghai Town to deliver supplies. This resulted in a group of mercenary groups submitting missions together every time. Wang Xian was waiting in line while a group of members of the Dragon Palace stood at the side. The mission this time is really dangerous. The strength of those bandits is beyond imagination. If boss hadn't made a breakthrough not long ago, we might have died here. After submitting the mission this time, we should be able to advance to a 2-star Silver Star mercenary group. A 2-star Silver mercenary group can be ranked in the top 40 in our academy. I'm so tired. After handing in the mission, hurry up and find a place to rest. At this time, another group of people came to the mercenary group and began to talk loudly. This group of people was not very old. They were all young people. They were talking loudly, but there was a proud look on their faces. Such a long line. It was obviously their first time in Holy Sea Town. When they saw 7 or 8 mercenary groups lining up, they were surprised. When we reach the gold mercenary group, if there is no gold mercenary group in front, we can directly cut the line. A young man said with some yearning. Reaching the gold mercenary group was a watershed. When a mercenary group reached the gold level, the minimum must be a transcendent level 6 powerhouse. At this level, when one was handing in the mission, they could directly cut the queue when there were mercenary groups below the gold level at the front. This was the privilege of a powerhouse. A 2-star bronze mercenary group? Look around. Most of the mercenary groups in Xinghai Town are bronze level. There aren't many gold level ones at all. After all, this is a small town. Our 1-star silver level mercenary group is considered pretty good here. The group of people came to the back of Wang Xian and said with a smile when they saw the mercenary group on Wang Xian and the rest. Brother, can you give us some space? We are in a hurry. At this moment, Wang Xian felt a palm placed on his shoulder and the voice from behind was heard. Wang Xian raised his eyebrows and moved the young man's hand away. He turned around and said, I'm sorry, we are also in a hurry. Wang Xian's words made the young men unhappy. What, you don't agree? Wang Xian smiled faintly and ignored them. Humph, a small 2-star bronze mercenary group. We are talking to you guys properly, yet you don't give us any face. A young man saw Wang Xian turning around, and his eyes revealed a hint of coldness. The corner of his mouth curled up slightly. He swept his gaze across the surroundings and flicked his finger. The golden needle formed from metal attribute pierced directly toward Wang Xian's back. Buzz. Wang Xian sensed the small movement behind him and a golden light flashed across his back. Ah! A scream came out from the young man's mouth. He covered his arm with an embarrassed expression. What's going on? Everyone in the hall turned around immediately when they heard the young man scream. They looked over in astonishment. Kid, you actually dared to sneak attack me. One of the young man's palms was covered in blood. He stared at Wang Xian with a gloomy expression. I know who is going to sneak attack who. Wang Xian glanced at the young man indifferently and said with slight disdain. You're courting death. The young man covered his wound and stared at Wang Xian coldly. No one is allowed to make a move in the hiring association. At this moment, the cold voice of the guard came from the side. Chapter 9:11. Chapter 9:11. Who is trash? When the young man saw the guard staring at him coldly not far away, he looked a little embarrassed. Obviously, he knew that the guard had noticed his small actions just now. A few young men at the side winked at him, telling him not to stir up trouble. HMPH, a 2-star bronze rank trash mercenary group. You better not let me find a chance. The young man stared at Wang Xian coldly. His tone was filled with threat. How dare a 1-star silver mercenary group act so impudently? Ao Jian, who was at the side, heard the young man's insult and stared at him coldly. That's right. It's just a 1-star silver mercenary group. You don't have the right to talk about others like that. Suddenly, a girl came from behind. Several young men turned their heads with gloomy faces and looked at the girl who spoke. The girl was in her 20s and 30s. Her looks were average, but she had short hair. She looked valiant and valiant. She wore a leather armor with blood stains on it. The mercenary group badge on the girl's chest was a 4-star silver mercenary group. The girl spoke with hatred. Cough. We are students of the Demon Hunters Academy. The mercenary group is only 1-star silver mercenary group now, but it won't be long before we can reach gold rank. The young man looked at the girl and said with a sullen face. So you are students of the Demon Hunters Academy. My daughter is not sensible. Please don't mind her. I apologize on behalf of my daughter. A middle-aged man next to the girl heard the words of the young men and his expression changed slightly. He quickly said to the young men. Humph. The young men snorted coldly. They were too embarrassed to argue with a girl. The female student was a little indignant and wanted to say something, but she was stopped by the middle-aged man. When the female student suddenly opened her mouth, the group of young men became embarrassed and stopped talking. They waited quietly. The speed of handing in the mission wasn't very fast. Wang Xian waited in line for half an hour before it was his turn. After handing over the badge of the mercenary group, Wang Xian said directly, Hand in the mission. The waiter took the mercenary group badge and checked the mission that Wang Xian had accepted. Bring me the mission item. The waiter looked at Wang Xian in astonishment. All right. Wang Xian handed over an interspatial ring. The waiter took the interspatial ring and opened his eyes wide. Sir, please wait for a moment. I will count it for you. The waiter was shocked and his tone was filled with respect. Please hurry up. Why is the speed here so slow? The waiter took the interspatial ring for about 2 minutes. A few young men at the back urged him in annoyance. How many missions can a 2-star bronze mercenary group take? Why is it so slow? The waiter raised his head and looked at the young men at the back coldly. Then he looked at Wang Xian with a smile and said, Sir, your mercenary group has been upgraded. I will change your badge for you. All right. Wang Xian nodded and passed all the badges to him. He reminded him, overlapping missions. Priority is given to Phoenix Immortal Pills and Weapons Workshop. All right. The waiter nodded and said, Sir, please wait for a moment. Sure. Wang Xian nodded his head faintly and walked to the side to wait. It's finally our turn. The few young men at the back glanced at Wang Xian coldly and muttered. They walked forward and threw their badges over. Hand in the mission. The waiter nodded his head lightly. He checked the badge and muttered softly, You're still so arrogant after completing a 3-star silver grade mission. Ha. Obviously, all the extraordinary experts present could hear it clearly. This caused the expressions of the few young men to turn ugly. They asked in a low voice, After completing this mission, you should be able to advance to 2-star silver rank, right? Yes, bring the badge over. I'll exchange it for you. The attendant said indifferently. Hurry up. The few young men urged impatiently. We can't. This female attendant might have had her period, or she might have seen that they were a little annoyed, so she directly rebuked them. That gentleman has completed 10 missions. Now he can even wait to advance to 3-star silver tier. Why are you all in such a hurry? The attendant said sarcastically. What? The young man was slightly taken aback and his face was full of astonishment. You guys, you should keep a low profile, understand? At this moment, a staff member inside handed the newly made badge to the attendant. The staff member took it and patted the badge in his hand. He glanced at them and looked at Wang Xian. Sir, your badge is ready. Thank you. Wang Xian nodded with a smile on his face. No need, no need. The staff member quickly smiled and said. Then he looked at the few young men with a straight face. Look, they are a 3-star silver mercenary group. What? How is this possible? He was clearly a 2-star bronze star just now. The few young men were stunned. They widened their eyes in disbelief. How is this not possible? He handed in 5 4-star bronze star missions directly. 5 5-star bronze star missions, 3 5-star silver star missions, and 2 4-star silver star missions. Humph, quickly move aside and wait at the side. The waiter said impatiently to the few young men. Wang Xian passed the badges to the golden swordfish and the rest. He played with them for a while and the corners of his mouth curled up slightly. He looked at the few young men mockingly. It's only a 2-star silver mission, trash. He said faintly and wore the badges on his chest. His contemptuous tone and mocking behavior made the few young men's faces extremely awkward. Just a moment ago they had mocked the other party for being only a 2-star bronze mercenary group, but damn it, they actually advanced to 3-star silver in an instant. This was simply flying. How could a mercenary group advance so quickly? Their mercenary group was a mercenary group created by the Academy's 50th strongest person. It took them 3 years to reach 2-star silver. However, the other party actually surpassed them in an instant. Furthermore, they actually completed the mission of 5-star silver grade. 5-star silver grade. They had to hunt at least level 5 supernatural beasts and demonic beasts. Haha, how interesting. At this moment, the laughter of the girls could be heard from the side. The faces of the few young men changed drastically. They lowered their heads in shame. Wang Xian didn't bother with the few young men. He could just slap them in the face. There was no need to bother with this bunch of clowns. The mission reward was placed in his interspatial ring. There was no problem with that. Wang Xian, right? Just as Wang Xian walked to the door, shadows blocked his way. 20 to 30 people blocked the entrance and stared at them coldly. Wang Xian raised his head and stared at the group of people in front of him with a twinkle in his eyes. The Mirage Sea Mercenary Group. They are blocking our way. I wonder what's going on. Wang Xian raised his head slightly and looked at the old man who was standing in the middle. He was the leader of the Mirage Sea Mercenary Group. We are a small team. 5 days ago they contacted us for the last time. At that time they bumped into you guys. I want to ask about their current situation. The leader of the Mirage Sea Mercenary Group stared at Wang Xian expressionlessly. Chapter 9:12. Chapter 9:12, completed the mission. What's the situation with the Mirage Sea Mercenary Group? The leader of the Mirage Sea Mercenary Group is here personally. What is he trying to do by stopping those young men? When the surrounding people saw the leader of the Mirage Sea Mercenary Group blocking the entrance of the mercenary group and Wang Xian and the rest, they were bewildered. Wang Xian stared at the leader of the Mirage Sea Mercenary Group. There was no expression on his face as he asked indifferently, "Why did the members of your mercenary group bump into us? Furthermore, they have the time to contact you guys. I'm asking you a question." A cold glint flashed across the eyes of the leader of the Illusionary Sea Mercenary Group. His gaze was fixed on Wang Xian. I'm asking you a question too. Wang Xian stared at the old man without showing any signs of weakness. This scene caused everyone around to be slightly stunned. Their faces were filled with astonishment. How dare they go against the Illusionary Sea Mercenary Group? What are their identities? The Illusionary Sea Mercenary Group is a reputable group in our holy sea town. Not many people dare to provoke them. Who is that young man? Some people around looked at Wang Xian and the rest in astonishment. Wang Xian had only been in Holy See Town for less than half a month. Although there were a few sensational incidents, not many people knew him. "Kid, I think you are courting death." A strong murderous intent shot out from the eyes of the leader of Huan Hai. In an instant, the surrounding air seemed to freeze. "The person who is courting death is already dead." Wang Xian smiled faintly. With a flick of his finger, a corpse appeared on the ground. The corpse was the middle-aged leader of the Mirage Sea mercenary group. At this moment, his eyes were wide open and filled with fear. The corpse that appeared out of thin air stunned everyone. This was especially so for the members of the Mirage Sea mercenary group. Their eyes were instantly bloodshot as they stared at the corpse on the ground with an extremely embarrassed expression. Whoosh! Wang Xian waved his arm and kept the corpse back into his interspatial ring. A smile appeared on his face as he said, "Excuse me, please step aside." "Kid, I think you want to die." An angry roar came from the leader of the Mirage Sea mercenary group. The members of the Mirage Sea mercenary group beside him also had cold expressions on their faces as they gripped their weapons tightly. "Those who are looking for death are already dead. Those who want to die, I think they are going to die soon." Wang Xian stared coldly at the leader of the illusionary sea mercenary group and the rest of the members. They were going head-to-head with each other. He did not show any signs of weakness. "Hiss, what was that just now? That seems to be Xiu Hanshan's corpse." "It can't be. Xiu Han, a level 5 extraordinaire, was killed. He is one of the only 3 level 5 extraordinaires in the illusionary sea mercenary group." When the surrounding people saw the corpse just now, they were shocked. They looked at Wang Xian and the rest in astonishment. The atmosphere was a little tense. "Get out of the way." Wang Xian looked at the group of people who were filled with killing intent and said coldly, "Brat, just you wait. If I don't kill you, I will have wasted my dozens of years in Shanghai town." The leader of the illusory sea mercenary group, Xiu Qianshan, stared at Wang Xian coldly. He. Wang Xian smiled disdainfully and walked straight ahead. The members of the Mirage Sea mercenary group opened a path and stared at all of them with bloodthirsty eyes. "Who is that young man? Why is he so confident?" "A 3-star silver mercenary group, the Phoenix mercenary group. This is the first time I've heard of it." The surrounding people looked at the badges on Wang Xian and the rest and exclaimed in surprise. 3-star silver mercenary group. Xiu Qinshan's gaze froze slightly. When Captain Han Shan replied with the communication stone plate, he said that the other party was only a 2-star bronze grade. Why did he suddenly become a 3-star silver grade? An old man from the Mirage Sea mercenary group said with a solemn expression. "A 3-star silver grade mercenary group must have an extraordinary level 5 powerhouse. However, it was unbelievable for the other party to advance to 3-star silver grade so quickly. Their Mirage Sea's 5-star silver rank took more than 30 years. With the level of the mercenary group, they could only advance after completing 10 missions of the same level. However, if one mission failed, 2 mission points would be deducted. Once they failed, the previous 2 successful missions would all be nullified. Moreover, if a mercenary group failed too many times, they would lose their level. This was also the reason why a 5-star silver grade mercenary group took more than 30 years. For example, Wang Xian's Immortal Phoenix mercenary group was completely different. They possessed the combat strength of a level 7 supernatural being. The average level 5 supernatural being would naturally increase their level very quickly. At the later stages, their speed would slow down. Of course, this was only relative. With the speed at which Wang Xian and the rest increased their strength, the Immortal Phoenix mercenary group would soon reach the gold grade. After clashing with the Mirage Sea mercenary group, Wang Xian walked straight to the Celestial Phoenix Elixir and Weapons Workshop. When he arrived at the entrance of the Celestial Phoenix shop, he realized that there was no one inside. Yesterday, the threat from Dao Hen and the involvement of the Mirage Sea mercenary group made the mercenary group of Shanghai Town not dare to come to the Celestial Phoenix Elixir and Weapons Workshop to shop. Today, the entire shop was completely empty. "Young master, I didn't expect it to be you. Would you like to buy some elixirs?" When Wang Xian walked into the shop, the staff in front of him was slightly stunned and asked respectfully. "Buy some elixirs. Where's Shopkeeper Lu?" "Shopkeeper Lu is at the back. I'll call for him immediately." A middle-aged man behind the counter said hurriedly and walked to the back quickly. "Young master, are you going to buy some elixirs again?" Shopkeeper Lu walked out and asked Wang Xian with a face full of anticipation. Yes, an elixir that costs 500,000 middle-grade spirit stones. Wang Xian nodded his head directly and took out the remaining Heaven Star Grass and Heaven Billow Grass after the mission. Also, I have some Heaven Star Grass and Heaven Billow Grass in my hands. Please calculate the price. Heaven Billow Grass. Manager Lu's eyes lit up and revealed an excited look. Young master, we are willing to buy it at 1.5 times the market price. Thank you, young master. Wang Xian waved his hand. Change it into elixirs that can improve your cultivation. Yes, yes. Manager Lu nodded his head quickly and his face was flushed. It was another deal that was close to 1 million middle-rated spirit stones. Although it was far from the previous deal, it was still a huge deal. Furthermore, after this deal ended, some of the elixirs in Shanghai town were about to run out of stock. To buy 70% of the elixirs in the Fengxian Elixir and Weapons Workshop by himself, it was a terrifying thought. Young master, please take a look. Wang Xian received the elixirs that Manager Lu handed over. After checking them, he was very satisfied. Manager Lu was obviously not a short-sighted person. He had offered a huge discount on both purchases. Wang Xian brought along a medicinal pill worth 1 million middle-grade spirit stones and walked towards his residence. After digesting these medicinal pills, the strength of the strange demon and the golden swordfish could be improved considerably. This young master seems to be called Wang Xian. I don't know why he helped our Fengxian medicinal pill and weapon workshop so much. His strength is really strong. He came twice and bought 9 million medicinal pills. Shopkeeper Lu's eyes flickered as he watched Wang Xian leave. Ding. Congratulations to host for advancing to a silver-level mercenary group. Activate the reward. Chapter 913. Chapter 913. Diamond-level monsters were attacking the city. Ding. Congratulations to host for obtaining the Light and Shadow Barrier. Light and Shadow Barrier. Transcendent Level 8 Formation. Function. Set up a barrier to trap the enemy and protect yourself. Ding. The second phase mission of the mercenary group has been activated. You have been promoted to a gold-level mercenary group. You will be rewarded with a random transcendent item. When Wang Xian was walking on the road, the system's voice suddenly rang out, causing Wang Xian to be slightly stunned. An extraordinary level 8 formation. Not bad, not bad. It can withstand an attack from an extraordinary level 8. Furthermore, after upgrading to a gold-tier mercenary group, you will be able to obtain an extraordinary item at random. Wang Xian was full of smiles. If this light and shadow barrier was used properly, it would have a great effect. When he returned to his residence, Wang Xian took out an elixir and swallowed it directly, obtaining more than 800 dragon crystals. More than 800 dragon crystals were not enough to increase the strength of the members of the Dragon Palace. They could only continue to accumulate. Following that, Wang Xian took out the mission stone plate and prepared to search for another place to complete the mission to increase his strength. This time, he was prepared to choose a place where the level of the ferocious beasts was higher. 4 low-level aquatic creatures. The amount of dragon crystals they obtained after swallowing them was too little. It was too slow to increase their level. However, just as Wang Xian was looking for a mission, in the most luxurious restaurant in Shanghai town, a young man was sitting next to a woman with a fawning expression. The woman was wearing the tight-fitting uniform of a city guard. However, it was this uniform that made the young man's eyes burn with passion. Beside the young man, there were more than a dozen young men sitting next to him. A few of them were the few people who were mocking Wang Xian in the hiring association. Luyan, when are you going back to school? I'll go with you. I'll be able to take care of you on the way back. The young man poured a cup of tea for the girl with a flattering look and said with a smile. Let's set off 5 days before school starts. There's still half a month's time. Jean Luyan said to the young man calmly. Oh, is that so? It just so happens that we'll be staying here for a period of time as well. It's our first time coming to Shanghai town. We'll go to Donghai City together. The young man said with a smile. Jean Luyan hesitated for a moment and nodded. There are still some classmates in Holy See town. Let's go together. Okay. The young man nodded. Okay. At this moment, Jean Luyan was suddenly shocked and hurriedly took out the communication stone plate from her pocket. Her communication stone plate was different from the ordinary one. Obviously, it was much more advanced. At this moment, the communication stone plate was emitting light. Not good. When Jin Luyan opened the communication stone plate and saw the words on it, her expression changed drastically and she suddenly stood up. What happened? The young man at the side saw Jin Luyan suddenly stand up and asked with a stunned expression. Don't leave the city. I'll go to the watchtower. Jin Luyan immediately walked towards the window of the restaurant. Luyan, what happened? Can I help? Seeing that Jin Luyan was about to fly out, the young man frowned and hurriedly asked. Monster siege. Without turning back, Jin Luyan flew toward a watchtower in Holy Sea Town. Monster siege. Hearing these words, the young man's face changed dramatically. The dozen or so young men beside him were also stunned. A monster siege. They cried out in surprise and a hint of fear appeared in their eyes. Dong dong dong. At this moment, the bell suddenly rang throughout the entire Holy Sea Town, and the rapid bell chimes echoed in everyone's hearts. What happened? What's going on? Why did the bell of the faraway watchtower suddenly ring? Not good, something bad has happened. When everyone in Holy Sea Town heard the bell, their expressions changed drastically, and their eyes revealed shock. Holy Sea Town, all mercenary groups, all cultivators above Transcendent Level 1, be on alert. The monsters are about to attack the city. At this moment, a majestic voice covered the entire Holy Sea Town and entered everyone's ears. When everyone heard this voice, their expressions changed drastically. It's the mayor's voice. Monsters are attacking the city. Oh my god, monsters are attacking the city? Monsters are attacking the city? What level of monsters are attacking the city? They actually made the mayor take precautions personally. The monster attack this time isn't simple. I hope it's not a powerful monster. In an instant, the entire Holy Sea Town was in chaos. The weak citizens prayed with pale faces. A monster siege, a terrifying monster siege. For everyone, the biggest disaster was a monster siege. In the Transcendence continent, many cities were destroyed by the monster siege and turned into ruins. Countless experts died under the monster siege. Once the city was breached, at least 1 million people would die. The sudden siege of the city caused everyone to look terrified. Diamond-level monsters are attacking the city. Everyone, don't panic. The mercenary will start the mission to defend the city. At this moment, the voice from earlier sounded again, comforting the panicked people. Diamond-level monsters are attacking the city. Fortunately, with the mayor's presence, we should be able to resist them. Phew, a diamond-level monster attacking the city shouldn't be too much of a problem. A diamond-level monster is still a little dangerous. Come, let's go to the position of the city wall. The mission to defend the city has begun. Haha, as long as we defend Holy Sea Town and kill the murderer demon beasts, we will be able to obtain a huge amount of resources to increase the level of the mercenary group. Some of them heaved a sigh of relief and followed closely behind the mercenary group and the city wall. At this moment, Wang Xian, who was in his room, was slightly taken aback when he heard this majestic voice. A monster siege? A diamond-level monster siege? He was slightly taken aback and immediately stood up. His eyes were sparkling. A monster siege was not very rare on the Transcendence continent, especially for the town of Shanghai, which was located by the sea. It happened once every few years. Compared to the safer town, the mayor's strength was around Transcendent level rank 8. Only a special city like Holy Sea Town was at Transcendent level rank 9. Every time a monster attacked a city, a lot of employees would die. However, every time a monster attacked a city, it was an opportunity for any mercenary group. As long as it was not a destructive monster siege, they could kill a large number of fierce beasts and demon beasts with the advantage of the city wall. The corpses of these demonic beasts and murderers were treasures. Let's go. It will be difficult for diamond-level monsters to destroy the Holy Sea Town. This monster feast is our chance to improve our strength quickly. Wang Xian's eyes sparkled as he immediately ordered the members of the Dragon Palace. It's the Dragon King. A group of members of the Dragon Palace followed behind Wang Xian and headed towards the city walls. There were 4 city gates in Shanghai town. Only the south gate of the east gate was closer to the seaside. Wang Xian headed straight for the east gate. On the way, Wang Xian opened the mission stone tablet. At this moment, there was no mission on the mission stone tablet. There was a line of words in the middle. The mission to defend the city was about to begin. Chapter 9:14. Chapter 9:14. Diamond-grade monsters were attacking the city. The mission to defend the city was about to begin. The rest of the missions had been eliminated. During the special time, the main mission was to defend the city. Wang Xian and the rest rushed towards the east gate. There were also many mercenary groups rushing towards the east gate. The entire street was filled with cultivators holding weapons. Their faces were filled with fighting spirit. When they arrived at the city gate, the city wall was filled with city guards. They were standing on top with bows and arrows in their hands and weapons in their hands. In the middle of the city wall stood a middle-aged man. The strongest person in Holy See Town, the mayor of a town, Jin Chenyuan. At this moment, beside Jin Chenyuan was an old man dressed in the uniform of a member of the Demon Hunting Mercenary Association. The words "demon hunting" were written on the old man's clothes. This was the president of the Demon Hunting Mercenary Association of Holy See Town, a transcendent level 8 powerhouse. At this moment, there were many mercenary groups gathered in front of the city gate. Each of them held a weapon in their hands, waiting for the mission to be activated and the mayor's order. According to our investigation, this should be the first wave of attack. There are even more powerful aquatic creatures behind. In the middle of the city wall, Jin Chenyuan stared ahead with a serious expression. In the ocean ahead, groups of creatures swam towards them. At a glance, they were densely packed, almost endless. At the front was a very strange monster. A white shell was on both sides of its body. It had 4 limbs and one of its arms was as long as a knife. The knife was emitting a golden light. This monster was not very big. Most of them were about 1 meter in size, and the biggest one was only 3 meters in size. This was a golden scalpel fish, an aquatic creature with the lowest transcendence level 1. Other than the ground, there was also a strange aquatic creature in the sky. Its entire body was pitch black like a bat, and it had a sharp mouthpart and a black whip-like tail. Every time this creature stirred, it would bring with it a dense black aura. Its aura seemed to far surpass that of the golden machete fish below. This was a demonic winged beast. Its strength was at least at the 2nd rank of the extraordinary realm. Apart from these 2 aquatic creatures, there were other creatures behind it. However, they were still very far away from Holy See Town. Kill the first wave of aquatic creatures as soon as possible. Let the mercenary group take action first. The few experts in the city are ready to deal with the leader of the fierce beasts at any time. The president of the mercenary group stared at the front with an expressionless face and said slowly, "Well, apart from the west gate, the east gate, the north gate and the south gate will be attacked. The east gate is in the center." Jin Chenyuan's eyes flickered. Seeing that the aquatic creatures were about to arrive, he ordered, "The city defense mission is activated." "It's the mayor." The old man next to him nodded, then slowly turned his head and looked at the city gate. There were tens of thousands of mercenary group members gathered here, each of them holding a weapon in their hands, waiting for the mission to start. City defense mission begins. The old man waved his arm and an image appeared above him. City defense mission begins. First mission. 1:5-star silver mission. Battle outside the city, kill fierce beasts, according to the number of fierce beasts killed, obtain additional corresponding points, the fierce beast corpse belongs to the slayer. 2:1-star bronze mission. Stand on the city wall and attack from afar. Based on the number of berserk beasts killed, you will receive additional points. The corpse of the berserk beast will belong to the slayer. Additional points. 1 point for a tier 1 berserk beast, 10 points for a tier 2 berserk beast, 100 points for a tier 3 berserk beast, and 1000 points for a tier 4 berserk beast. The points will be increased one by one. When a mercenary group participates in a mission, more than half of them must complete it. There were 2 missions and they were vastly different. The first mission was to leave the city and fight. As long as they survived, they would be considered to have completed the 5-star silver mission. While fighting on the city wall, the 1-star bronze mission was mainly because there was no danger on the city wall. Apart from these 2 missions, killing a beast could obtain points and the corpse of the beast. The first mission was relatively dangerous, while the second mission was 100% safe. Obviously, the demon hunters would encourage mercenary groups to leave the city to fight. The first wave of attacks could be easily defended by the guards on the city wall. You can accept missions through the mission stone plate, or you can accept missions through registration. Mission begins. Boom boom boom. When the old man finished speaking, the city gate immediately opened. Haha, if you want to kill, then go out and kill. Brother, follow me and charge. Fuck, although it's dangerous, as long as we can survive, we can definitely make a fortune. Charge. Very quickly, a mercenary group chose a mission and directly charged out of the city. The first wave of missions was not very dangerous. 4 cultivators whose strength had reached transcendent level 3 or 4, the danger of leaving the city to battle was not very high. However, the rewards would definitely not be low. The mercenary groups flew out with fighting spirit. Let's go. Wang Xian did not hesitate at all. His body moved and he flew straight into the sky towards the outside of the city. During the period of defending the city, he could fly in the city. A group of members from the Dragon Palace followed behind while the strange demon was hidden in the void. Wang Xian and the rest were floating in the sky outside the city. They stared ahead with cold eyes. There were about 7,000 to 8,000 cultivators around them. Each of them was at least at level 2 of the extraordinary realm. There were at least hundreds of thousands of goldfish in front of them. There were also thousands of demonic winged beasts in the sky. The battle to defend the city was about to begin. The real battle was about to erupt. It's all of you. At this moment, a cold voice came from the side. Wang Xian frowned and looked to the side. He saw 4 to 5 young men staring at him coldly. What's wrong? Who is he? In the middle of the young men, a young man with long hair tied up and a golden longsword under his feet looked at the 4 to 5 of them curiously. Beside them, Jin Luyan also looked over curiously. Leader, this kid called our mercenary group trash and even mocked us. A young man stared at Wang Xian coldly and said to the long-haired young man beside him. Is that so? A cold glint flashed across the eyes of the long-haired young man. Jin Luyan frowned and looked at Wang Xian and the rest. He is only 1 level higher than us and he said that we are trash. Kid, you are really arrogant. The long-haired young man moved his palm and another golden longsword appeared in his hand. Hee trash, it's time to fight. Wang Xian swept his gaze across the few of them with a hint of disdain in his eyes. He stared ahead and charged forward. Kill? Kill, kill, kill? An earth-shattering sound of killing rang out as 7,000 to 8,000 people charged towards the hundreds of thousands of golden mackerel. When the long-haired young man and the rest heard Wang Xian's words, their faces turned ugly instantly. What an arrogant fellow who is courting death. The long-haired young man's face was gloomy. His eyes flickered as he swept his gaze across Wang Xian's figure. Let's kill the ferocious beasts first. Jin Luyan, who was at the side, also frowned. She shouted softly and charged over. Chapter 9:15. Chapter 9:15 was killing in all directions. Kill? The area of 10 kilometers in front of them was filled with densely packed golden bladefish. There were the most golden bladefish at Transcendent Level 1, followed by Transcendent Level 2, Transcendent Level 3, and even Transcendent Level 5. The number of golden bladefish was dozens of times more than the number of mercenary groups. One by one, the mercenary groups spread out and attacked the golden bladefish below. Wang Xian led Ao Jian and the rest to attack a spot in the middle. There were more than 10,000 people. For at least 300,000 to 400,000 goldfish, it was very little. However, the strength of more than 10,000 members of the mercenary group was much stronger than the goldfish. Among the members of the mercenary group, there was also an extraordinary level 6 powerhouse. Burn the river and boil the sea. Wang Xian came to the sky above the goldfish. Without any hesitation, he unleashed a terrifying fire abhijna. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. The moment he arrived, hundreds of goldfish below him waved their golden knife-like arms and slashed at him. With a swing of the knife, a 100-meter-wide knife mark was formed. In an instant, hundreds of knife marks were comparable to an attack of a level 2 transcendent. Boom! However, before the knife light could reach him, the terrifying flames covered an area of 3,000 to 4,000 meters below him. The terrifying flames melted the saber ray directly and landed on the ground. In an instant, it covered more than 100 golden knife fish. A single divine ability instantly killed more than 100 golden knife fish, including 4 to 5 extraordinary level 3 golden knife fish. HMPH, using a divine ability as soon as you come up. You're really courting death. At this moment, a cold snort came from not far away. Wang Xian glanced at the long-haired young man and ignored him. Do you want to compare our killing speed, trash? The long-haired young man obviously held a grudge against Wang Xian's words of trash. He mocked him coldly. You are not qualified. Wang Xian did not have a good impression of these prideful young men. He opened his mouth directly. Ichimpich coward. The long-haired young man snorted coldly. More than 10 long swords appeared around him in an instant and attacked the surrounding goldfish. Jin Luyin, who was not far away, took a glance at this place. Water arrows were shot at the goldfish. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. More than 10 long swords killed more than 10 goldfish in an instant. Clearly the long-haired young man was not weak either. Whoosh. Wang Xian opened his mouth and spat out the fire dragon bead instantly. He attacked the goldfish one by one. Wang Xian's arm changed slightly and turned into a dragon claw. He landed directly in the middle of the goldfish. Kill? His face was ice cold. He waved his dragon claw and killed a goldfish with one strike. Even if it was a level 3 transcendent, he would be killed instantly. Ichimam so strong. The long-haired young man took a glance at Wang Xian and a hint of seriousness appeared in his eyes. 10,000 swords slash. At this moment, a cold voice came from the side. The long-haired young man quickly looked over and saw 11 middle-aged men wielding the same golden longswords on the right. A unified move, a unified attack, and a unified divine ability. In an instant, thousands of long swords appeared in front of each of them. The 11 of them moved and charged forward together. A single charge of 3,000 meters killed 4,000 to 5,000 golden swordfish. The terrifying attack was blocked by 3 transcendent level 4 golden swordfish. Boom! Wang Xian rushed to the front of the few transcendent level 4 golden swordfish in a frenzy. His dragon claws enlarged by 3 meters and grabbed a transcendent level 4 golden swordfish. Crack, crack. The body of the golden swordfish split open and died instantly. Ao Jian and the rest of the golden swordfish swung their long swords and slashed at the other 2 transcendent level 4 golden swordfish. 11 terrifying sword rays flashed and killed the 2 golden swordfish. So strong. The long-haired young man's expression changed slightly. In an instant he killed a transcendent level 4 golden swordfish. That kid's strength was not weaker than his. Kill, kill, kill. There were simply too many golden mackerel. However, this made Wang Xian extremely excited. His body moved quickly as he killed 1 golden mackerel after another with his dragon claws. In less than 5 minutes, Wang Xian had killed more than 1,000 golden mackerel. Ao Jian and the rest were also not slow in their killing speed. 11 of them had killed more than 2,000 golden mackerel. A massacre. The golden machete fish was not very strong. Wang Xian relied on his terrifying physical strength and dragon claws to kill them quickly. A massacre. Not a single golden machete fish could withstand 2 of his attacks. What kind of supernatural power is that claw of his? How can it be so strong? The long-haired young man looked at Wang Xian and the rest with a serious expression. Which mercenary group is this? Why haven't I heard of it before? Its combat strength is so insane. This time even Jin Luyin was astonished. In the few mercenary groups nearby, with the young man as the leader, the number of goldfish they killed in a short period of time exceeded the total number of 4 to 5 mercenary groups in the surrounding area. Damn, they're so violent. Their physiques are so strong? Which mercenary group is that guy from, bro? He's too fierce, killing much faster than us. The other mercenary groups also looked over in shock. The strength of their mercenary groups was not weak either, all of them were 3 to 4 star silver rank. Their leader was an extraordinary Type 5 expert, but the number of kills he killed was still far from the 12 of them. It's a pity that the strange demon can't be exposed. If the strange demon attacked together, its speed would be even faster. Wang Xian thought to himself. With the physique of a divine dragon, the energy and physical strength in his body were dozens of times stronger than that of a human. He didn't feel the slightest bit tired when he killed. Damn, look ahead. The leader of the Sword Scar mercenary group is too abnormal. He killed over 1,000 golden mackerel fish in one strike. The few large mercenary groups in Shanghai town are all there. Even though they were surrounded by 70,000 to 80,000 golden knife fish, they still managed to kill everyone in all directions. Awesome. At this moment, exclamations could be heard from the surroundings. Wang Xian raised his head and looked ahead. He noticed that there were terrifying attacks coming from the front. 70,000 to 80,000 golden knife fish were surrounding and attacking more than a dozen people. These people were all the leaders of the top mercenary groups in Shanghai town. The strongest knife marks was at level 7 of the supernatural realm. Interesting. Wang Xian licked his tongue and looked towards the center of the group. He then flew towards the area where the goldfish were the most concentrated. Damn, is he fucking courting death? The few young men who were following the long-haired young man shouted in surprise when they saw Wang Xian suddenly charging over. He's courting death. The long-haired young man said disdainfully. Entering the encirclement without the strength of a transcendent level 5 was simply courting death. Although it's not good to expose the physique of the divine dragon, it shouldn't be a problem to expose the other attributes. Wang Xian licked his tongue and looked at the nearly 100,000 golden mackerel fish in front of him. He flew up high. The wood world descended. Spirit enchantment. The long-haired young man's expression changed drastically. Chapter 9:16. Chapter 9:16. People from Zhen Shanghai town. On Earth, an extraordinaire could cover an area of more than 10 kilometers with a wave of his hand. However, on the extraordinaire continent, due to the rich spiritual energy, the quality of the spiritual energy in the world was higher than on Earth. The attack of an extraordinaire could only cover an area of 1 to 2,000 meters at most. The descent of the wood world was the result of Wang Xian advancing to the extraordinaire and obtaining a wood attribute supernatural ability. As his level increased, it would increase. The power of the descent of the wood world was comparable to a level 5 divine ability. However, with the addition of the spirit enchantment, the attack was even more terrifying and more agile. Descent of the wood world. Spirit enchantment. When Wang Xian's voice rang out in the sky, dense trees instantly appeared beneath him. The trees were 5 to 6 meters thick, 4 to 500 meters tall, and had an area of more than 1,000 meters. Within this range, Wang Xian could control the wood world to descend and attack. However, after the enchantment, all the trees seemed to come alive. Boom, boom, boom. The trees seemed to have woken up and were emitting green rays of light. Kill? Wang Xian stood at the highest point of a tree. His body was emitting a dense azure dragon aura. The azure dragon aura seeped into the tree, causing it to become even stronger. A divine ability with a coverage of more than 1,000 meters was not considered small in this battlefield with a radius of 10 kilometers. However, such an area of attack had appeared 5 to 6 times since the start of the battle. Some of the area of effect attacks had a wide coverage, but they did not last for long. It was like burning the river and boiling the sea. It only lasted for about 10 seconds. The descent of the wood world was different. Only when all the trees were destroyed could the descent of the wood world disappear. The attack power of the descent of the wood world was slightly weaker than that of burning the river and boiling the sea. However, it was completely different after the enchantment. Even if Wang Xian did not turn into a divine dragon, his attack power was still not weak. Hundreds of huge trees were like awakened tree demons. They attacked the gold blade fish in front of them directly. Holy shit, what divine ability is this? The tree demons that suddenly appeared, and there were hundreds of them, waved their thorns and attacked the golden knife fish. This scene made many people look shocked. They summoned trees, but the trees attacked like living creatures. Such a divine ability was unbelievable. What a powerful divine ability. Some of the mercenary group leaders looked over and revealed a look of astonishment. What he? The long-haired young man and the rest were stunned. Even Jin Luyan, who was standing at the side, looked at the young man standing on the tree demon in astonishment. Due to the conflict with Wang Xian, they had been paying attention to his battle. In the beginning he used the fire attribute, but now he actually used the wood attribute. Dual attributes. The long-haired youth widened his eyes in disbelief. Dual attributes meant that his attack power far exceeded that of a single attribute. However, the cultivation speed of dual attributes was twice that of a single attribute. He actually has dual attributes and he should be at Transcendent rank 4 or rank 5. How terrifying. Jin Liuyan's face was filled with shock. Not many people in Eastern Sea City could match such talent. Boom, boom, boom. Just as everyone was in shock, the spirit-imbued trees in the tree world transformed into tree demons. One after another, the trees moved their huge bodies and attacked the gold blade fish. The densely packed trees smashed onto the gold blade fish and sent them flying. Terrifying. There were hundreds of tree demons that were hundreds of meters tall, and each one of them had the strength of a rank 3 transcendent. With their huge bodies, their attacks were simply abnormal. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. In just a few minutes, the group of tree demons had killed 3,000 to 4,000 golden bladefish. However, after killing so many golden bladefish, the dozens of tree demons looked like they were in tatters. Crack, crack, crack. At this moment, an ear-piercing sound came from the sky. Thousands of demon-winged beasts suddenly swooped down and attacked the tree demons. These demon-winged beasts were stronger than the golden mackerel. Thousands of demon-winged beasts emitted a terrifying demonic aura and could easily destroy all the tree demons. Wang Xian stood at the top of a tree demon. He frowned slightly and thought of something. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. When the group of demon-winged beasts attacked, all the trees started to move. They were not attacking the demonic winged beast. Instead, all the tree magic thorns intertwined together to form a huge net. Whoosh. When the net that covered a radius of more than 2,000 meters intertwined together, it directly covered all the demonic winged beasts. Ka ka ka. When the demonic winged beasts saw the net that covered them, their eyes revealed a cold expression. They flapped their wings and instantly demonic feathers flew towards the net of thorns. However, the moment the demonic winged beasts attacked, all the trees condensed into thorns and filled up the spot where the net was broken. The tree demon turned into thorns and interweaved into a gigantic net that was suspended in the air. In the net, over 1,000 demonic winged beasts were covered. This is the moment. A blazing fire flashed across Wang Xian's eyes. He moved his body and dashed toward the net formed by the tree demons. Boom! In an instant, terrifying flames shot out from Wang Xian's eyes and body. The flames ignited all the tree demons in an instant. Wood-based fire. Wood-based fire. Boom! 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 In an instant, a flaming battlefield with a radius of more than 1,000 meters suddenly appeared on the battlefield with a radius of 10 kilometers. Gulp! Dual attribute wood makes fire. Using these trees as fuel, the fire attribute explodes with even more terrifying power. My God, this move is too terrifying. Who is that young man? How can he be so strong? This move is simply amazing. Too strong, too strong. What kind of monster young man has appeared in our holy sea town? Around them, the members of the mercenary group looked over with a look of horror on their faces. Among the demonic winged beasts that were surrounded by trees, there were quite a number of transcendents at level 4 and level 5. Crack, crack, crack. At this moment, screams of agony were heard coming from the huge flames. Whoosh. A few demonic winged beasts at level 5 transcendents flew out from the flames. Kill. At this moment, Wang Xian took action and chased after the 3 transcendent level 5 demonic winged beasts. The 3 demonic winged beasts were already severely injured. Kill. Ao Jian 11 followed closely behind Wang Xian. Their bodies transformed into long swords and charged towards the 3 transcendent level 3 demonic winged beasts in the sky. The 3 extraordinary level 5 demonic winged beasts that had just escaped were killed by them. Hiss. They're too strong. What kind of mercenary group is this? It's simply heaven-defying. The most terrifying one is the young man with wood and fire attributes. He's too amazing. Some of the surrounding members of the mercenary group saw this scene and widened their eyes. They were filled with shock. The long-haired young man and the few members beside him looked extremely embarrassed. There was even some fear in their hearts. I saw their badges just now. Their mercenary group seems to be called the Immortal Phoenix Mercenary Group. Immortal Phoenix Mercenary Group. Chapter 917. Chapter 917, Sneak Attack. The Celestial Phoenix Mercenary Group. When Wang Xian descended with one move of the Tree World, one move of the Spirit Enchantment, and the final mass of Wood Fire Burial, his formidable strength and dual attribute talent instantly shocked everyone in the entire Holy Sea town. Genius, Heaven's Pride, Evildoer. In everyone's eyes, he was even more evildoer than evildoer. What kind of mercenary group is the Celestial Phoenix Mercenary Group? Why haven't I heard of it before? Strong, too strong. The other 11 members of the Immortal Phoenix Mercenary Group are all at Transcendent Level 4. The 12 of them have killed at least 10,000 ferocious beasts. This is simply heaven-defying. That young man looks young, but he possesses such strength. He might be able to become a powerhouse above Transcendence in the future. Everyone looked at Wang Xian, the golden swordfish, and the rest in astonishment. Their faces were filled with disbelief. With just 12 people they had killed more than 10,000 ferocious beasts. Among them, there were a few beasts that were at Transcendent Level 5 and Transcendent Level 4. They were so powerful that they were almost heaven-defying. Only the 2 or 3 mercenary groups in Shanghai town could achieve such a feat. Wang Xian's name was completely known in Shanghai town during this battle. The Celestial Phoenix mercenary group could also be considered to have officially stepped onto the stage of the supernatural continent. Hee. Listening to the discussions and shock of the people around him, Wang Xian smiled faintly. The strength that he displayed now was less than 1/10 of his peak strength. Even if he revealed some of his strength, it wouldn't affect him in the slightest. Continue kill? Wang Xian didn't stop and continued to attack the surroundings. This was a rare opportunity. After the monster siege this time, the Celestial Phoenix mercenary group had a high chance of being upgraded to gold rank. In addition, the tens of thousands of ferocious beast corpses belonged to them. A Transcendent Level 5 demonic beast's corpse was worth 50,000 medium-grade spirit stones. If they killed dozens of them they could earn a few million spirit stones. When that time came, their strength would be upgraded once again. This is too ferocious. After 2 rounds of casting they are still so powerful. Seeing Wang Xian attack again, the people around were shocked. Even if I cast all my spells, it won't consume too much of my energy. Wang Xian smiled. He waved the vines in his hands rapidly and killed the ferocious beasts one by one. Leader, this person is not someone we can provoke. At the back, the few young men beside the long-haired young man, who had provoked Wang Xian last night, were looking at Wang Xian's figure with pale faces as they spoke to the long-haired young man in fear. As long as he doesn't provoke us, we won't provoke them either. The long-haired young man spoke with a guilty expression. When he recalled his taunting just now, his expression turned extremely ugly. The other party's strength could completely crush him. He would never have thought that there would be such a monstrous young man in such a small Holy See town. What a strong kid. On top of the city wall, Jin Qinyuan looked at Wang Xian's figure in astonishment. To be able to reach extraordinary 4th or 5th level at such a young age, he was a top-notch existence in the entire kingdom. Furthermore, the other party had dual attributes. This was somewhat heaven-defying. If this kid doesn't perish, his future is limitless. The president of the hiring association was also staring at Wang Xian with a twinkle in his eyes. Supervisor E, it's that young man who spent more than 9 million middle-grade spirit stones on our Phoenix Immortal. At this moment, in an area of the city wall, Manager Lu stood beside a woman and pointed at Wang Xian, who was in the middle of a battle. The Celestial Phoenix mercenary group? Do you know where he came from? Why did he help us, Phoenix Immortal? The woman was about 1.8 meters tall and had a good figure. She stared at Wang Xian with a twinkle in her eyes and asked curiously. I don't know. He seems to be from another place. Manager Lu shook his head and hesitated for a moment before continuing, but I feel that he seems to have some connection with us, Phoenix Immortal. To be able to support us under the threat of the 2 big mercenary groups in Holy See Town, there must be some connection. I just don't know the exact reason. The woman's face revealed a thoughtful expression. But no matter what, since the other party has helped us, we should also be on good terms with him. In the future, when he buys medicinal pills, he will give us a 20% discount. Yes, Manager E. Shopkeeper Lu nodded. Right now, the weapons and elixirs workshops in all our places are being suppressed by the life and death elixir workshops and the biological weapons workshops. Holy See Town is considered to be quite lucky. The woman muttered, this time we came at the right time. We encountered monsters attacking the city, so we can sell some of the elixirs we brought. Haha, 15 Transcendent Tier 6 goldfish. The rest are not allowed to attack. Leave it to me. In the middle of the battlefield, a maniacal laughter suddenly erupted. At the very front, Dao Hen held a long knife with a maniacal smile on his face as he charged forward. Over there was the leader of the Golden Knife Fish, 15 Transcendent Level 6 ferocious beasts. As long as he killed these 15 Transcendent Level 6 Golden Knife Fish, it was only a matter of time before he killed the rest. Dao Hen dashed forward. The rest did not dare to follow him. In the entire battlefield, only Dao Hen was at level 7 Transcendence. The rest of the mercenary groups continued to clean up the golden anchovies. In half an hour, only a few 100,000 golden anchovies were left. What a strong kid. On the other side of the battlefield, the leader of the Mirage Sea mercenary group, Xiao Qianshan, was killing the golden anchovies. From time to time he would look at Wang Xian, who was slaughtering everyone. The strength that Wang Xian displayed shocked him. However, the more he did so, the stronger the killing intent in his heart. I can't wait any longer. I have to get rid of this brat. Otherwise Han Shan's death will be in vain. Xiao Qianshan's eyes were extremely cold. He gritted his teeth and made up his mind. The battle was ongoing and the slaughter was also ongoing. Wang Xian didn't know how many goldfish he had killed. Each time he attacked, more than 10 goldfish would die immediately. These low-level goldfish didn't have any strength left to resist Wang Xian's attacks. They didn't dare to resist either. In fact, Wang Xian possessed the might of the dragon. Once he used it, 80% of the ferocious beasts on the battlefield would be under his control. After all, goldfish belonged to the aquatic race. Most of their strength was below level 3 of the supernatural realm. If he really used the might of the dragon, it would be a little shocking. Dragon King, be careful. At this moment, a reminder entered his ears. Wang Xian's expression changed slightly. His eyes that were emitting light swept behind him. Whoosh! Sneak attack. Wang Xian's expression changed drastically. A flash of coldness flashed across his eyes. His body moved and his dragon's might covered a radius of 1,000 meters. Buzz buzz buzz. He hurriedly dodged to the back. Around him, many golden machete fish of transcendent level 1 and 2 were attacking that figure. Damn golden mackerel, I was actually discovered. Xiao Qianshan's expression changed slightly. He swept the long sword in his hand, directly killing the golden mackerel that was charging at him. Chapter 9:18. Chapter 9:18. Took revenge on the spot. Captain Huan Hai, what are you trying to do? Wang Xian flew into the sky and stared coldly at the captain of Huan Hai's mercenary group, Xiao Qianshan. Dragon King. The group of golden swordfish immediately flew to Wang Xian's side and stared coldly at Xiao Qianshan. Hee kid, there's no need to be so nervous. It's just killing a ferocious beast. When Xiao Qianshan saw Wang Xian and the rest staring at him vigilantly, some of the mercenary groups around him turned their attention to him. Their expressions changed and they chuckled. If you want to ambush me, I'll just say it. As the leader of a 5-star silver-grade mercenary group and an extraordinary level 6 powerhouse, is there a need to find so many reasons? We both know that we have a grudge against each other. Wang Xian stared at Xiao Qianshan coldly and said with some disdain. Hee. Xiao Qianshan's expression turned cold when he heard his words. He licked his lips and said, so what if I want to kill you? Just you wait, kid. If you kill a member of my Mirage Sea mercenary group, I will definitely take your dog life. Xiao Qianshan stared at Wang Xian coldly. Dozens of members of the Mirage Sea mercenary group flew to his side and stared at Wang Xian and the rest coldly. What happened? Why did the leader of the Mirage Sea mercenary group suddenly attack that young man? Could it be that they have a deep grudge against each other? They actually attacked during the siege? This Xiao Qianshan actually wanted to kill that young man. It seems like the Immortal Phoenix mercenary group killed a member of a small team of the Mirage Sea mercenary group. Xiao Qianshan wanted revenge. However, now that the sneak attack has been discovered, even if Xiao Qianshan was stronger than that young man, it would be difficult to kill him. The people who were fighting around them were shocked when they saw the Illusionary Sea mercenary group suddenly confronting the Immortal Phoenix mercenary group. The Illusionary Sea mercenary group was one of the top 5 mercenary groups in Shanghai town. The Immortal Phoenix mercenary group had shown brilliantly today. The confrontation between the two powerful mercenary groups in Shanghai town instantly attracted everyone's attention. Kill me. You are not qualified to do so. Wang Xian stared at Xiao Qianshan coldly and said coldly. Don't worry. I will step on your corpse soon. Everyone in your Celestial Phoenix mercenary group will die. Xiao Qianshan emitted a strong murderous aura as he growled with confidence. His current position was too close to the city gate and was surrounded by ferocious beasts. If Wang Xian and the rest wanted to escape, he didn't have the confidence to stop them. After the failed sneak attack, he didn't attack again. Kid, just you wait. A goldfish rushed towards him. Xiao Qianshan waved the long saber in his hand and a terrifying saber radiance gathered. When it landed on the goldfish, it exploded instantly. Immediately, blood splattered everywhere. Xiao Qianshan smiled menacingly. Go. He snorted coldly and waved his saber to attack the surrounding golden machetes. The Immortal Phoenix mercenary group actually provoked the Mirage Sea mercenary group. Next, that young man is in big trouble. Yeah, a genius who hasn't grown up is no different from an ordinary person. Some of the surrounding members of the mercenary group looked over and discussed in a low voice. Are we waiting? Wang Xian looked at the Mirage Sea mercenary group that had once again charged into the group of golden swordfish. His dragon aura slowly spread to the surroundings. In an instant, all the extraordinary level 1 and level 2 golden swordfish within a radius of 1,000 meters instantly attacked them. A few thousand golden swordfish charged over, but it did not cause any chaos in the Mirage Sea mercenary group. You dare to threaten me? Wang Xian moved his body and dashed towards the Mirage Sea mercenary group at a terrifying speed. Ao Jian and the rest followed closely behind, their faces filled with killing intent. They had to take revenge on the spot. If it wasn't inconvenient to expose Ao Yao and the rest directly, everyone in the Mirage Sea mercenary group would be dead by now. But even so, they were fast. Endless sight. Golden Sword Thrust. The 11 golden swordfish instantly unleashed their strongest abhijna. Their bodies were like long swords as they directly attacked the Mirage Sea mercenary group. They actually dare to attack us. The Mirage Sea mercenary group, who was killing the golden swordfish, had a change in expression as anger appeared on their faces. It was especially so for Xiao Qianshan. He was like a tiger that had been angered by a monkey. His body was filled with a murderous aura. He had already allowed him to live for a few more days when he did not continue to attack earlier. Now he actually dared to retaliate. You're courting death. Kill them all. Xiao Qianshan shouted angrily. This time he did not conceal his anger at all. His body was emitting a terrifying murderous aura. Wang Xian narrowed his eyes slightly. In an instant, the group of golden mackerel fish around the Mirage Sea mercenary group seemed to have gone crazy. They jumped up and attacked everyone in the Mirage Sea mercenary group without any fear of death. In an instant, more than 2,000 goldfish attacked without any fear of death. Although their strength was below level 3 of the supernatural realm, they still had to defend with all their might. Boom, boom, boom. In an instant, a strong defense burst out from their bodies. The sword gleam of the goldfish landed in front of them and was blocked. However, this did not make the golden blade fish give up on attacking. Their bodies flew over and chopped off their kitchen knife-like arms. Scram! The members of the Mirage Sea mercenary group felt their bodies shake and immediately scattered the group of golden blade fish. However, following that, another wave of golden blade fish's attack arrived. What's going on? A member of the Mirage Sea mercenary group had a slight change in expression. They could clearly feel that the surrounding golden blade fish were suddenly going all out. It was as though they would slash them even if they were to die. This made them flustered. Quick dodge. At this moment, the furious roar of Xiao Qianshan could be heard. However, it was over. Wang Xian couldn't see everything clearly. The golden sword spikes of the golden swordfish had already landed on the bodies of the Mirage Sea mercenary group. Scram! A captain of the Mirage Sea mercenary group looked at the flames that were attacking him. At the same time, his body was emitting terrifying flames that burned the golden swordfish around him to death. He grunted coldly and held his flaming long saber with both hands. He swung it at an unending line of sight. Boom! The flames resisted the flames. The result was that the flames on the team leader's body became even more intense. Ah! A miserable scream was heard. Ah! Following that, another 4 or 5 miserable screams were heard from the surroundings. Phoenix mercenary group, you're courting death. A terrifying blade ray was attacking Wang Xian. His face was solemn as he landed on the ground quickly. A huge wooden shield was used to block the attack. Boom! The wooden shield exploded and completely neutralized the blade ray. The sudden outbreak of the battle shocked everyone once again. Their faces were filled with shock. Damn, what's going on? Why did the Celestial Phoenix mercenary group suddenly attack the Mirage Sea mercenary group? This is going to be an all-out battle. However, the Immortal Phoenix mercenary group's strength is obviously much weaker than the Mirage Sea mercenary group. Everyone hurriedly looked over and widened their eyes. The Mirage Sea mercenary group leader's sneak attack on that youth was unsuccessful. In the end, they had just left when they were instantly ambushed by that youth. Was there a need to be so violent? Chapter 919. Chapter 919. Congratulations on your death. On the battlefield outside the city gates of Shanghai town. Just now, the leader of the Mirage Sea mercenary group was about to launch a sneak attack on Wang Xian. However, after he left, he was instantly attacked by the other party. At this moment when the city was being attacked, there were around 70,000 to 80,000 people watching from the surrounding and the city walls. The sudden outbreak of the battle caused everyone to reveal a look of shock. Especially the counterattack of the Immortal Phoenix mercenary group, it shocked everyone. Berserk to berserk. Although the young leader of the Immortal Phoenix mercenary group was extremely powerful, in everyone's eyes, there was still a huge gap between him and the Mirage Sea mercenary group. The leader of the Mirage Sea mercenary group had just advanced to Transcendent Level 6 not long ago, and there were 2 Transcendent Level Rank 5 experts in the mercenary group. There were 7 or 8 Transcendent Level Rank 4 experts. On the other hand, there were only 12 people in the Immortal Phoenix mercenary group, and the other 11 people had Transcendent Level Rank 4 strength. The difference in strength between the two was huge. This is too violent. Xiao Qianshan failed his sneak attack just now, and in the blink of an eye he attacked back. Moreover, he killed 7 or 8 people from the Mirage Sea mercenary group, and even killed a Transcendent Level Rank 5. The Mirage Sea mercenary group was too careless. They were suddenly attacked by a group of golden mackerel. They couldn't dodge in time and were directly killed by 8 people. It wasn't that the Mirage Sea mercenary group was careless. No one expected that the Immortal Phoenix mercenary group dared to counterattack. They actually dared to launch a sneak attack. Seeing the 8 members of the Mirage Sea mercenary group fall to the ground, everyone around sucked in a breath of cold air. The timing of the Immortal Phoenix mercenary group was too tricky. The Mirage Sea mercenary group, which was surrounded by 1,000 to 2,000 golden mackerel, was not in any danger. However, if the members of the Immortal Phoenix mercenary group were included, this would be the ending. The 8 members were killed, including an extraordinary level 5 powerhouse. I will tear you into pieces. When Xiao Qianshan saw that his 8 subordinates were dead, his eyes were blood red. He held the long saber in his hand and slashed at Wang Xian. The violent aura caused some of the surrounding members of the mercenary group to quickly hide behind. This is too fucking crazy. The long-haired young man and the rest were not too far away from Wang Xian and the rest. When they saw the situation, they retreated with pale faces. They had witnessed this scene with their own eyes. It was a sneak attack and a counter-sneak attack. They were not afraid at all. It was a battle where they were risking their lives. This made them feel fearful. This motherfucker, even if the Immortal Phoenix mercenary group provoked us, we shouldn't fight back. The long-haired youth was completely afraid. Under the situation where there were fierce beasts around, being attacked by a mercenary group that was stronger than him and still daring to resist was indeed quite irritable. If it was them, they definitely wouldn't dare to say a word. Lord, the battlefield outside. On the city wall, everyone looked at the sudden outbreak of battle in shock. A city guard walked to Jin Qinyuan's side and hesitated for a moment before asking. Since we're outside the city, let them kill each other. Jin Qinyuan's eyes flashed with displeasure as he coldly said. The city guard slowly nodded and everyone looked over. That young man's talent is indeed terrifying, but he's so stupid. He actually dared to launch a sneak attack when he wasn't the opponent's match. He's courting death, genius. He's nothing before he grows up. This kid is really courting death. He might be killed by Captain Xiao Qianshan. Some of them looked at the battle on the battlefield with a hint of disdain on their faces. Although you are a genius, if you act so arrogantly, you will still be killed. You dare to launch a sneak attack on me? Your Mirage Sea mercenary group is courting death. Wang Xian's eyes flashed with a cold glint as the plants around him grew rapidly. I want to feed that head of yours to the ferocious beasts. Earth-shattering. Xiao Qianshan let out a loud roar as he slashed the long saber in his hand toward the ground. Crack, crack, crack. A 3-meter wide crack formed instantly and spread toward Wang Xian. Tree World's Descent. It had been half an hour since Wang Xian had used Tree World's Descent the last time. The Azure Dragon energy in Wang Xian's body trembled. The surrounding trees were uprooted from the ground. However, Wang Xian did not possess any spirit this time. With a thought, he made Tree World's descent form an encirclement. This move of yours is ineffective against me. When Xiao Qianshan saw that his attack was blocked by the trees from Tree World's descent, a cold smile appeared on his face. Go in. Wang Xian ignored him and said to the group of golden swordfish that were being suppressed. Boom, boom, boom. Ao Jian and the rest immediately unleashed their attacks and fled into the tree world. Destroy them. Don't let any of them escape. Xiao Qianshan roared loudly. The long saber in his hand emitted an earthen yellow glow. Divine ability, heaven-shattering and earth-shattering. Boom. The terrifying tremors attacked the inside of the tree world. In an instant, large areas of trees were shattered and disappeared. Whoosh, whoosh. Kill. The Mirage Sea mercenary group's bodies emitted all kinds of light as they attacked the tree world. In an instant, more than half of the hundreds of trees were destroyed. You can't escape. Xiao Qianshan charged straight into the forest. The Immortal Phoenix mercenary group is done for. They are completely suppressed. The people who were watching from the surroundings looked over. The Immortal Phoenix mercenary group was completely suppressed. That's not right. The trees have sealed off the surroundings. At this moment, some people revealed a look of surprise. The moment everyone from the Mirage Sea mercenary group charged in, the tree world descended and surrounded all of them. Congratulations on coming in to die. At this moment, Wang Xian was smiling as he stared at the more than 30 members of the Mirage Sea mercenary group who had rushed in. Ao Jian and the rest were standing on the left and right, staring at them coldly. When Xiao Qianshan heard Wang Xian's words and saw that he was smiling, his expression changed slightly. He immediately scanned his surroundings. The rest of the Mirage Sea members were also looking around vigilantly. You're playing tricks. Xiao Qianshan suddenly felt a little uneasy. He growled, kill? Before he could finish his sentence, he charged at Wang Xian directly. However, just as he charged into the air, a series of sounds of people falling to the ground came from behind him. His expression changed drastically and he turned his head quickly. What? The corpses. In less than a second, more than 30 of his subordinates had fallen to the ground. There was no sign of life at all. Oh, how was this possible? Impossible, this is an illusion, an illusion. His expression changed drastically. His body trembled and the earthy yellow armor instantly covered his entire body. He looked around vigilantly. Congratulations, death. Wang Xian waved his arm and a red piece of paper floated towards him slowly. Xiao Qianshan widened his eyes and stared at the red piece of paper. He knew this piece of paper very well. Everyone in Holy Sea Town knew it very well. The red piece of paper represented congratulations on death. The Dragon Assassin Organization. Chapter 920. Chapter 920, Shook the Holy Sea. Dragon Spike. Dragon Assassin Organization U. Xiao Qianshan stared at the red piece of paper floating in front of him, his eyes filled with fear. An assassin organization had intimidated the entire Holy Sea Town in just 3 days. It had even made the families of Holy Sea Town put down their grudges and weapons and settle their conflicts. It made many people feel terrified and uneasy all day long. In just 3 days there was no one they couldn't kill. Even if it was a transcendent level 6 powerhouse, 2 to 3 people had died at the hands of Long Ci. No one knew how strong Long Ci was. However, the strength he displayed was definitely not something that the Mirage Sea mercenary group could afford to provoke. You are from the Dragon Thorns Assassin Organization? You are. Xiao Qianshan's body was trembling slightly. More than 30 of his subordinates were killed in an instant. The Dragon Thorns Assassin Organization had already instilled fear in him. His voice was trembling slightly. I am the founder of the Dragon Thorns Assassin Organization. Wang Xian stared at Xiao Qianshan as he spoke slowly. How did this? Before he could finish his sentence, a claw pierced through his chest. His face instantly turned extremely pale. How did he have such a terrifying concealing ability? How could it be so terrifying? He was so stiff that he wanted to turn his head around to see what creature had killed him. However, the life force in his body quickly disappeared. Wang Xian walked over slowly and kept the red piece of paper on the ground. Your men wanted to kill me. I killed your men and then you came back for revenge. Hehe. Wang Xian looked at his corpse and shook his head mockingly. Use it as nourishment for the dragon pond. Wang Xian moved his arm and took out the interspatial ring from his hand. Ao Jian and the rest also took out the interspatial rings from the other 30 or so Mirage Sea members. There are so many elixirs. There are also quite a number of middle-grade spirit stones. Wang Xian's face was filled with astonishment. He took a rough look. There were millions of middle-grade spirit stones and dozens of elixirs. It's not bad for a 5-star silver mercenary group to have such assets. Wang Xian kept the interspatial ring and looked at the interspatial rings of the rest. As one of the top mercenary groups in Shanghai town, everyone had quite a lot of resources in their hands. This was especially so for their weapons. The weapons in Xiao Qinshan's hands were at Transcendent Level 6. Their value was much higher than the Transcendent Level 6 pills. The combined value of the spirit stones, pills and weapons was close to 3 million middle-grade spirit stones. Wang Xian kept them unhurriedly. Ao Yao and the rest hid in the void again. With the cover of the trees, no one could see what was happening inside. Wang Xian was not afraid that the strange demon would be exposed. He kept all the corpses into his interspatial ring. With a wave of his arm, the surrounding trees turned into green dragon energy and entered his body. The trees slowly disappeared. At this moment, everyone's eyes were fixed on this place from the outside. When the trees that blocked their vision disappeared and when Wang Xian and the rest stood there, everyone was in an uproar. What? Where are the people from the Mirage Sea mercenary group? Could it be? No, it can't be. Xiao Qinshan and the rest were killed. How is this possible? He is an extraordinary level 6 powerhouse. Oh my god, the Immortal Phoenix mercenary group actually destroyed the Mirage Sea mercenary group. Everyone's faces were filled with shock. They widened their eyes and could not help but exclaim. This was the Mirage Sea mercenary group, one of the top 5 mercenary groups in Holy Sea Town. It had actually been annihilated. However, the one who annihilated them was a newly emerged 3-star silver mercenary group. A young man was the leader. Could it be that the young man has the strength of a transcendent rank 6? That's impossible, right? No, definitely not a transcendent 6th rank. From his combat strength just now, he isn't that strong. He must have used some kind of weapon or array formation to wipe out the Mirage Sea mercenaries. That must be it. There was no sound of attack from the area that was surrounded just now. They must have fallen into the array formation and then been killed. Everyone could not help but guess. At this moment, most of the goldfish had been killed. In the distance, Dao Hen was even more excited as he killed one after another of the extraordinary level 6 goldfish. The first wave of attacks from the ferocious beast was about to end. Wang Xian ignored the discussions of the people around him. He swept his gaze across the surroundings and saw that there were not many goldfish left. He stood there with a smile on his face. Some of the people around him looked over intentionally or unintentionally. Their eyes were filled with respect. An expert who was able to destroy the Mirage Sea mercenary group was worthy of their respect. The strength of the Fairy Phoenix mercenary group could be ranked in the top 5 in Shanghai town. The first wave of the city defense mission has been completed. Everyone returned to the city immediately to rest and reorganize. Soon, the second wave of the ferocious beast siege will begin. Under normal circumstances, the ferocious beasts attacking the city were controlled by the sea demonic beast race. As they were all ferocious beasts, their intelligence was not very high. Therefore, when attacking the city, it was impossible for all the ferocious beasts to rush over at once. If that was the case before they reached the city wall, all the ferocious beasts would start to kill each other. Therefore, the monsters attacking the city were carried out wave by wave. The further they went, the higher the level of the monsters would be. The first wave would have level 6 transcendence, and the second wave would definitely have level 7 transcendence. Wang Xian's figure moved and flew into the city. The Mirage Sea mercenary group was destroyed by that kid? At the last position, a group of more than 100 people were floating in the air as they slowly flew into the city. In the middle of these 100 people, Dao Hen was covered in blood. His single eye was emitting a threatening luster as he looked at a figure in front of him. It's the leader. It's their Immortal Phoenix mercenary group that destroyed more than 40 experts of the Mirage Sea mercenary group. An elder beside him nodded. I didn't expect them to have some strength. Dao Hen's single eye flashed with an unknown luster. He then narrowed his eyes and didn't say anything. On the city wall, everyone looked at the group of mercenary group members flying over with respect. These were all the strongest members of the mercenary group in Holy See Town, especially the last one, Blade Scar mercenary group. However, today a mercenary group rose up. The Immortal Phoenix mercenary group stepped on the corpse of the Mirage Sea mercenary group and directly stepped onto the peak. Everyone looked at the young man who was a bit too excessive with respect. He was the leader of a powerful mercenary group with terrifying strength. Oh right, it seems that the leader was accepted by the Demon Hunters Academy with the first place result in Shanghai Town. That's right, it's him. I remember that he even killed the daughter of the vice leader of the Squalid Shark mercenary group back then. That's right, it's this young master. He's really the new wave that has surpassed the new wave. I can't help but admire him. Wang Xian and the rest landed on the city wall. The people around him immediately cleared a space and were very respectful. Some of them even addressed Wang Xian as the leader and young master. The battle today, whether it was killing the ferocious beasts or destroying the Mirage Sea mercenary group, had shocked everyone. In the future, there would be one more mercenary group that would shock the entire Shanghai town. The Celestial Phoenix mercenary group. You're tuning in to the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.